For the first time this season, the Falmouth Commodores hit the road as they head to Wareham, Massachusetts to take on the Wareham Gatemen here on this cloudy Monday evening. Good evening, everybody. David Adar here, joined alongside by Matt Levine as we'll bring you the call here this evening from Spillane Field once again here in Wareham, Massachusetts. The Falmouth Commodores enter off a tie last night against the Chatham Anglers, a game that went back and forth throughout, and Matt, in the end, a 7-7 affair between the two sides.
Yeah, David, both sides went back and forth. That's exactly what it was. Chatham struck first in the first inning. They got another one in the second, and then Falmouth took the lead after that, leading 3-2. All of a sudden, another three-run inning on the other side for the Anglers. They took the lead back. Falmouth ends up scoring in the 5th, 6th, and 7th to tie the game and then take the lead. And in the top of the 9th, Chatham was able to score on an RBI ground out. And that was really it to tie the game. And Falmouth went down in order on strikeouts in the bottom of the 9th. But just such a weird situation. That was the first time I've ever called a game or seen a baseball game in person that had a tie. I know that there have been ties in the Cape Cod Baseball League in the past, but there obviously was an inning of extra innings. And this season, there is not. So the game is dead after 9. And to have an opening day tie, it was a little bit weird, but the excitement was there with 14 combined runs and 20 combined hits.
Yeah, ending the game after 9 innings, a new rule this season to limit the play a little bit due to the COVID concerns and also just to rest up some pitchers' arms because different pitchers had different length seasons at their college level this past year. So kind of mixing that up. I mentioned it was 7 runs. It was a 7-run tie between both sides. We saw some highs and lows between both the offense and defensive side of the ball for the Commodores. You look at the offensive side, 7 runs brought across on 8 hits. And then on the defensive side, the pitching for the Commodores combined for a total of 13 strikeouts last night. But at the same time, Commodores recorded 2 errors, and a couple of those helped Chatham score a couple of those runs.
Yeah, the errors, I mean, you ask any baseball coach or anybody with the knowledge of the game, that gives other teams or other offenses free passes, free base runners, walks and hit by pitches as well. And wild pitches, you're allowing runners to get on base and then move up without issuing a hit. You want them to get a hit and get on base that way. And that's just the beauty of the game. But it was game 1, a lot of summer ball left. So to see those ups and downs early is what they're probably used to in the summer.
Now, again, the Commodores hitting the road here for the first time this season here. If you're just tuning in, Spillane Field here in Wareham, Massachusetts, as the Gatemen and the Commodores about 7 minutes away from first pitch. And with the Commodores hitting the road for the first time this season, we'll send it down to Joanne Bethay to get her thoughts from Coach Jeff Trundy on his thoughts from both last night and going into today's contest.
Coach, after the tie last night, what did you say to your guys to try to prepare them for today?
We actually didn't talk that long last night. I mean, I think the biggest thing was that, hey, we got a game under our belt and got our feet wet a little bit. And, you know, every night you're out there is an opportunity to learn. You know, whatever you've done well, build on that. And if you didn't do something so well, hopefully make those corrections. And, you know, I thought there was some things we need to get better at. But I also saw a lot of positive things last night. I thought we really had some great at-bats, and I thought at times we pitched real well. So there was some encouraging signs.
Awesome. Last night, you also rotated through 3 pitchers. What do you want to see out of your pitching staff today?
I think the biggest thing for us right now, and probably, to be honest with you, the entire summer, is to be able to throw strikes. I mean, if you can stay away from walks and then stay away from errors on top of that, you know, you're going to be in a lot of baseball games. And, you know, I thought we had certain guys that really battled at the plate and came up with some big 2-out hits that made a big difference. And, you know, we just need to be able to stay away from free base runners, you know, stay away from the walks, stay away from the errors.
What do you think will be the biggest test for your guys today?
Well, hey, we're going to play some different guys today. You know, everybody's going to get an opportunity, and, you know, we're going to rotate guys on a consistent basis. And so we'll see some different people tonight. You know, and again, I think, you know, you have to get used to the idea, especially if you're coming off your freshman season. Some guys haven't gone through this where you play every single night. So, you know, you got to follow up and you know, make sure you're mentally prepared to go through the grind each and every day.
And welcome back in, everybody, here from Spillane Field. You heard there Coach Jeff Trundy for the Commodores talking with our sideline reporter Joanne Bethay. And before we continue this contest, take a brief moment here as we're going to get the national anthem in just a moment here from Wareham, Massachusetts.
At this time, we ask you to please join us for a moment of silence as we remember our friend and leader, Paul Gallup. Paul A. Gallup passed away at home peacefully on May 28, 2021, after a short battle with cancer with his family by his side. He was the loving husband and best friend of Lori Gallup and his daughter Kate Gallup and son Pete Gallup, who have joined us tonight for a very special presentation. In 1980, Paul began his Cape Cod Baseball Association with the Chatham A's. During his time with the team, he held various team executive positions and also thoroughly enjoyed 10 years as Chatham's public address announcer. In the fall of 2003, Paul was elected commissioner of the Cape Cod Baseball League and held that position for 15 straight years, the longest tenure for a commissioner in the history of the league. He retired from the CCBL in 2019 and was elected to the CCBL Hall of Fame later that year. Paul will be remembered for his level-headedness, listening to three sides of every story, his wonderful sense of humor, knowledge of music and sports trivia, and mostly his generous heart. Paul would often comment that the goal for each day should be to be the best you can be. Joining the Gallup family at home plate tonight for a special presentation by Congressman William Keating are CCBL President Chuck Sturdivant, Thomas Gay, President of the Gatemen and VP of the CCBL, Bill Boussier, VP of the CCBL, CCBL Commissioner Eric Samuda, Glenn Hennington Sr., VP of the Gatemen, and Town of Wareham Selectman, State Representative Susan Gifford, Superintendent of Schools Kimberly Schaefer-Hood, Mike Carrier, and Alan Slavin. It is my honor to introduce Congressman William Keating for tonight's very special presentation. At this time, we ask you to please remain standing for the singing of our national anthem, being performed this evening by Alana McDermott. Alana is an 18-year-old singer from Quincy. This spring, she graduated from Archbishop Williams High School, and she'll be studying vocal performance at Berkeley in the fall. Alana has sung for the Gatemen in the past and is excited to be back. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Alana McDermott.
Well, as you may have heard there on the broadcast moments ago, tonight's game being played in honor of the former commissioner of the league, Paul Gallup, who tragically passed away back in late May after a short battle with cancer. Paul was the commissioner of the Cape Cod Baseball League for 15 years. He was inducted into the CCBL Hall of Fame in 2019. And Matt, a nice tribute there that was put on by the Gatemen in his honor.
Yeah, whenever someone of that status goes in such a tragic way, this league tends to be able to honor them very nicely. And if you were able to hear it across the broadcast, just such nice words said about Mr. Gallup and everything that he meant to the community, the league, and just the game of baseball in general.
So as we get back looking at tonight's matchup, Falmouth on the road coming off the tie last night against Chatham. Wareham, meanwhile, coming off a loss at Cotuit yesterday evening. So this will be Wareham's first home game of the season, and both teams trying to pick up that first win of the year. Wareham will be throwing out Larson Kinreich for his first appearance of the year for the Commodores, the sophomore righty out of Biola University, which is a D2 school in La Mirada, California. 9 appearances and 9 starts this past year for Biola. And, Matt, his number is pretty good as he'll make his first appearance tonight.
Yeah, you don't know what to expect when going up against such top talent coming from a Division II university, but that's what the point of this league is. You give guys opportunities to show themselves against the best players in the country, and that's what he's here to do tonight. But he's one of the best high school players when he was in high school at the time. He held a streak of 37 no-hit innings at one point in his high school career, which, if you do the math, would be about 3, maybe a little bit more of no-hit, 3 full games of no-hit baseball. So to have that streak going for him under his belt and just build upon that to get to a level where maybe he'll put himself in a draft conversation would be huge for him.
Well, certainly some scouts here tonight that'll be checking him out, as well as many of the other guys who will be taking part in tonight's contest. Looking at the lineup for Falmouth here this evening, Cody Colden will lead things off as the designated hitter for the Commodores. His first appearance of the season, the guy out of Washington State. Michael Curiali will hit second. He plays at shortstop. Braden Taylor, the 3-man who plays at second today. Alex Sayre will clean things up. He plays out in left field. Sayre making his first appearance of the year for the Commodores from Wright State. Jace Borfin, the 5-hitter, he plays in right field. Jake Meyer will do the catching duties this evening. He came in late in last night's contest. Jake Ducart, the 7-hitter, he plays at third base. Taylor Smith, the former Commodore and out of Texas A&M, will get the start at first. And rounding things out, the 9-hitter, Luke Boyers, who will be trying to improve off an 0-5 at-bat appearance last night. As again, the Commodores and the Gatemen each looking for their first wins of the season. And Matt, it feels good to have a road game and to just continue playing some baseball.
Yeah, and it's days like this where the weather here is just so strange. It's foggy, but it's also so humid to the point where it feels like it's raining, but it's not. So the grass will probably be a little bit slick. So we'll see if that has any impact on the ground balls. The dirt here at Spillane Field is a little bit more on the rockier side in terms of having some gravel on it, it looks like, but they've hosed it down quite a lot. It looks pretty dark, so it might be a little bit softer. So just an interesting sort of style of field surface going on here in Wareham, but summer ball just adjusting day in and day out and going on the road, but 45, 30 minutes away, however long you're driving, it's not terrible.
No, it certainly isn't. The field here at Spillane Field, it's got a gray infield, playing off of what Matt was saying with the gravel-like infield. The area around home plate is dirt and is the usual brown, red clay color, but the rest of the infield is all gray. So definitely a different look here at Spillane Field. And again, we mentioned the starter tonight for Wareham. It'll again be Larson Kinreich, who will be making his first appearance of the season. 6'4" lefty out of Biola University, who plays at the Division II level. And tonight's contest, about 70 degrees here as we approach first pitch. An overcast sky. There's been plenty of fog today. At the moment, no fog really in the area. And the wind's been heavy at points with gusts going out towards right field. The American flag is waving heavily out in right field at the moment, and so we'll see how the ball carries today. Commodores had at least one single, double, and triple yesterday, but they did not get any home runs. But this is a smaller field, Matt, and with the wind carrying out towards right, an opportunity to bring that first homer here today.
Well, we were told earlier on last Wednesday, actually, at the broadcast and media intern meeting with all the team's broadcasters, that here at Wareham, at this time of night, it's just like a wind turbine with the balls carrying out, and especially with a short porch out here in right field, you probably will see a Falmouth Commodore get into one tonight.
You may be able to hear some of that wind on the broadcast, but as we get set to go here, Cody Colden will step into the box, and as Kinreich here fires the first pitch home, it's upstairs and away for ball one here on Cody Colden. Colden making his first appearance of the season for the Commodores. Just wrapped up his junior year at Washington State, originally out of Post Falls, Idaho, and he cranks the second pitch out to left field, but a liner that's caught easily by the left fielder in Owen Diodati, and there's quickly one gone.
Colden got into one there, hit it hard, gave it a ride, and a good piece of contact on the fastball that was in a little bit too much of the plate if you're Kinreich, but good piece of contact, just hit it right at the left fielder, Diodati.
That brings up Michael Curiali, who will take ball one upstairs. Curiali, one of the Commodores that shined yesterday evening, went 2 for 4, hitting in the 9 spot last night, and picked up 2 RBIs in that win, or in that tie, I should say, as the second pitch from Kinreich in this at-bat falls in for strike one. Count 1-1 here in the opening inning from Spillane Field here in Wareham, Massachusetts. Commodores wearing their black tops with maroon numbering and lettering, gray shorts with that maroon stripe down the side, and the stirrup socks that plenty of the players are showing off as Curiali swings and misses at the third pitch of this at-bat, and the count now 1-2 on him, as now Curiali fouls it down the right field line out of play, as it'll get outside of the fence area. Count still 1-2 here in the opening inning, one gone here from Spillane Field. Commodores entering off a 7-7 tie yesterday evening against the Chatham Anglers. As Kindreich set now, comes home with it, and a breaking ball down in the dirt. Good stop by Nick Samillo behind the plate as the count evens up at 2-2. Kindreich looks in for the sign, and now he fires home outside, and the count worked full here by Michael Curiali.
It's interesting to see Curiali batting in the 9 spot yesterday, but after going 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs, Trundy moves him up all the way to the 2 spot.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Pitch home is fouled back and out of play behind home plate, and we'll do it again.
And that's part of the good thing about playing every single day and this early in a summer ball season with players you're not familiar with, just tinkering with the lineup every night and see what works best to get some W's.
Payoff pitch once again here upstairs, and in the first at-bat for Michael Curiali this afternoon, he works a walk, and so the Commodores have their first base runner of the ball game. So with Curiali leading off of first, that'll bring up Braden Taylor, the freshman out of TCU. Taylor, this year's Big 12 Freshman of the Year. And we'll have our first lefty-lefty matchup of the evening as Kindreich looks over towards first and now comes home with the first pitch of this at-bat, and it's outside for ball 1. Taylor went 2 for 5 yesterday evening in that tie against the Anglers. Had a couple of singles and came around to score both times that he got on base. Kindreich set, holds his glove letter high, and now a breaking ball fired home, and it falls in for strike 1. Count even here at 1-1. Michael Curiali leads off of first after working a walk moments ago. Kindreich set, and he throws over towards first as Curiali takes off, and Curiali out at second. As good job there by Larson Kindreich to fool Michael Curiali and get the easy out on the base paths. That pickoff move by Larson Kindreich able to fool Michael Curiali, and it's a really nice move, Matt.
Well, Curiali was running on the first move from the left-hander, so regardless of whether he was coming over to first or going towards the plate, Curiali was running on the first movement of the leg. So it was really a good job by Kindreich to time that up perfectly to go over to first.
2-1 inside here on Braden Taylor, and the count now 3-1. Here in this at-bat, Taylor hitting in the 3 spot this afternoon for Falmouth. Originally from West Jordan, Utah, as Larson Kindreich now fires home, and it's popped up high into the overcast sky down the first base side. And as it starts to fall, the second baseman Jeffries for Wareham will call off the right side of the field and make the catch to get the third out of the inning. So Falmouth gets a base runner, but they end up going down 1-2-3 here in this opening inning. We'll head to the bottom of the first, still scoreless, here from Spillane Field. Welcome back into Spillane Field as we head to the bottom of the first. Scoreless here between Falmouth and Wareham from Spillane Field. And as the Commodores head out to the field for the first time this evening, we'll see Chuck Harrison out of UCLA make his first appearance for the Commodores this season. And I know, Matt, you were talking earlier with Coach Trundy about him. What did Trundy have to say, and what pitches do we expect to see this evening from Harrison?
Well, Harrison uses a 3-pitch arsenal usually of a fastball, secondary pitch of a slider, and then occasionally use of a changeup as well. So no curveball in that arsenal. He might use it, but tends to go with the slider as the breaking ball. He's a hard-throwing right-hander from UCLA. So, again, another Power 5 Pac-12 player that is on this Falmouth Commodores team. We already saw his college teammate Michael Curiali walk in the top of the first.
So a big deep breath taken here from Harrison as he looks in on Jim Jarvis, the leadoff man for Wareham here this evening. Harrison set, now comes home with it, and the first pitch in there for strike one here on Jarvis. Harrison had 16 appearances this past season for UCLA, but never made a start at the collegiate level, in his first 2 years. And he does that here tonight as the second pitch of this at-bat is cranked back up the middle, and it's through for the first base hit of this ball game. Jim Jarvis goes up the middle for a leadoff single, and Wareham has a base runner aboard.
And Jarvis batted leadoff yesterday, played at second base. Today he's at shortstop, but he went 1 for 4 yesterday, gets his first hit of today's game, and getting the leadoff guy on is so important, especially in the first inning. You want to attack early. Teams that tend to score first get that momentum later on in the stages of the game. So getting the leadoff guy on is huge for the Gatemen.
So Jarvis leads off of first as Tres Gonzalez comes up now. The lefty out of Georgia Tech in the first pitch of this at-bat, a breaking ball that gets away from Jake Meyer behind the dish, and that allows Jim Jarvis to advance on to second. And so already early here, a runner in scoring position for Wareham. Gonzalez went 1 for 4 yesterday in the loss at Katuitt. It was an 8-5 loss for the Gatemen, a game in which they never were able to pull ahead and take the lead. They have a runner leading off second here now in Jarvis. Harrison looks back towards second and now comes home with it upstairs and away for ball 2. Count now 2-0 here on Gonzalez. Gonzalez just wrapped up his freshman season at Georgia Tech, originally from Sandy Springs, Georgia. Started 56 games this past year for the Yellow Jackets, hit .279 for them. And the third pitch of this at-bat, just able to catch the inside corner for strike one. Harrison watching Jarvis intently back at second. And now he looks towards home for the sign from Meyer. Comes set, holds the glove, letter high, and now the righty deals home a breaking ball that's fouled down the first base side. And it's stopped by the first base coach for the Gatemen. And the count now 2-2 here, still with nobody out in the bottom of the first.
Well, Harrison dropped that slider in on the inside part of the plate. Now with 2 strikes, could use that on the outside corner as it comes towards the left-handed hitter. So just drop down on the plate if he's able to locate it in the right spot.
Lights are on here at Spillane Field as Harrison comes set, looks back towards second, now comes home with the pitch way upstairs, and the count runs full here on Tres Gonzalez. Gonzalez was drafted in the 37th round by the Dodgers in the 2019 MLB draft. Ended up deciding to play college ball instead. And here he stands now wearing the Georgia Tech batting helmet out there for the Gatemen. As Harrison set, big deep breath, now comes home with the pitch, and it's a strike. Tres Gonzalez set down looking as we have our first out of the inning and the first strikeout of the year for Chuck Harrison.
Harrison went to the changeup there with a full count, dropped it on the inside corner. Had some drop to it, but just the velocity decrease after throwing that fastball up at your eyes in the previous pitch to Gonzalez. It's just deceiving when you drop in that changeup inside on your hands and with a little bit less velocity.
So Jarvis still leads off of second with 1 gone here now in the bottom of the first. That brings up Paul Skeens for his first at-bat of the afternoon, and his pitch lined up the middle. It's stopped by Harrison, and he's able to recollect the ball and throw it over to first in time to get the out. And it appears that he's fine. I think the ball was hit slowly enough that he was able to react to it, and fortunately everything okay with him.
That ball was hit hard, but it went off the glove of Harrison, who almost caught it on a line drive. It fell out of his glove, just a reaction play to throw his leather at it, and he's able to knock it down. And it's also good for Harrison that Jarvis couldn't advance after that because he had to pause in the air on the line drive after it hits the ground just to play to first. And Jarvis can advance from second to third.
Now 2 gone here in the bottom of the first with Owen Diodati coming up. Already the 3rd left-handed hitter of this top part of the lineup for the Gatemen. 3 of the 4 hitters so far have been lefties. The first pitch is a ball outside. Jarvis still leads off of second. Falmouth went scoreless in the top half of the inning, and Harrison fires home, and it's fouled back into the backstop, and the count runs even 1-1. Diodati just wrapped up his sophomore season at Alabama, originally from Niagara Falls, but on the Canada side, not the American side. Hit .230 this past year down in Tuscaloosa with 40 RBIs. And just as Harrison was about to come home, time called by the home plate umpire. And so we'll do it all again here. Still 1-1 here with 2 outs in the bottom of the first. Harrison with a big deep breath. And with the ball held letter high, pops it up down the third base side. Potentially going to stay in play and just at the edge of the fencing. The catch made by Jake Ducart for the Commodores, and that ends the inning with 1 runner stranded on second. We'll head to the top of the second. Still scoreless here from Spillane Field.
Due to the required COVID-19 protocols, the Cape Cod Baseball League and local Cape Cod...
And welcome back here into the broadcast. David Hadar, Matt Levine joining you this evening from Spillane Field here in Wareham. As the Commodores on the road for the first time this season as we head to the top of the second, scoreless here. Falmouth looking for its first hit of the ball game. They did get a base runner in the first, and Michael Curiali, he walked, but then was caught out on the base paths. And now as we head to the second, Alex Sayre will lead things off for Falmouth. His first appearance of the season here for the Commodores. And he bats in that cleanup role. 6-foot hitter. Just wrapped up his freshman season at Wright State. Second pitch of this at-bat is hit high into the sky over towards right field. The right fielder, Tres Gonzalez, charging hard over to get it, and he's able to get under the ball to make the first out of this inning.
Well, off the bat, that looks like a blue pop-up that would have made trouble for Despina at first, Jeffries at second, or Gonzalez in right. But with that wind pushing it towards shallow right field, also a shallow wall out in right field. So Gonzalez is already playing pretty close to the infield. He's able to get there.
With 1 gone, Jace Borfin will step to the plate for the first time this evening. And he takes ball 1 down in the dirt. So the count goes to 1-0 on him. Last night, Borfin picked up an RBI and went 1 for 4 in that tie against the Anglers. As the second pitch of this at-bat, another ball from Larson Kinreich. Borfin from Oklahoma. As the third pitch of this at-bat, well inside on him, and it hits him in the back. And Borfin doesn't look to be too happy about that, as he'll take the trot down to first. So Falmouth has their second base runner of the ball game, and Jake Meyer will come up now. Meyer, the 6th hitter in the lineup here for the Commodores, came in late in last night's game to relieve Jonathan French in the catcher position, and he takes strike one from Kindreich. Meyer, a redshirt junior from Washington State. Played there the last 2 seasons, played at the JUCO level before then, and then played at the University of Arizona before then. So he's jumped around a little as he swings and misses at the second pitch of this at-bat, and the count now quickly 0-2 on him.
Interesting story about him is going from the Pac-12 school in Arizona, dropping down to the JUCO level, and then going back to the Pac-12 in Washington State. You see the jump from D1 to JUCO, then back to D1, but rarely in the same conference.
And he takes the third pitch of this at-bat inside for ball 1. Got to imagine that that's a weird feeling, especially when Washington State goes down to Tucson and takes on Arizona, you know, probably playing against some teammates that you had your freshman year. The 1-2 pitch just outside for ball 2, and the count even here, 2-2.
That's also what's so weird about seeing this Cape Cod Baseball League season every single day is there's teammates from colleges on pretty much every roster that you'll look through. Oklahoma and Clemson pretty well represented. So these guys are teammates during the spring, but going up against each other in the summer.
Meyer swings and misses at the 5th pitch of that at-bat, and he's set down looking as Larson Kindreich picks up his first strikeout of the afternoon, and there's now 2 gone. And we'll stay with the Pac-12 as Jake Ducart comes up now for his first at-bat of the afternoon. Have another lefty-on-lefty matchup here as Ducart digs in. Ducart made the final out last inning while the Gatemen were batting as he caught a ball in foul territory. A throw over to first. Back in standing is Borfin. Scoreless here in the top of the second. There's 2 outs here as Borfin leads off of first. And the first pitch of this at-bat, a breaking ball that catches the outside corner for strike 1. Yeah, Matt, you touch on all the different guys that are represented on these rosters. Falmouth with 24 different schools represented on its opening day roster, 30 guys in total. So a couple of guys from multiple guys from schools, but in general, just all over the country you see on these teams. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here on Jake Ducart. The pitch home, upstairs, and the first ball of this at-bat. Falmouth still looking for its first hit of the ball game. They've had 2 base runners already, but one has come via a walk, one via the hit by pitch. Borfin takes off as the pitch comes home, and Borfin slides in feet first, and he's in safely to second. The pitch was a ball to Ducart, so the count 2-2 now, and Falmouth has its first runner in scoring position this evening.
That's the second time we've seen a Commodore run on the first move of the left-hander Kindreich. So they must be seeing something in his timing of coming set and going towards the plate, or maybe just 1 or 2 looks over to first before he delivers, and they're timing him up perfectly. That time it works.
2-2 hit high in the air into shallow left center field. Coming in on it is the left fielder Owen Diodati, and he's able to get under it to make the catch and end this inning. Still scoreless here in the bottom as we head to the bottom of the second. The Gatemen coming back to bat as Chuck Harrison still on the mound for Falmouth. Bottom of the second here from Wareham as we get things going here with the Gatemen back up to bat. Justin Williams, the 5-hitter for Wareham, will lead things off as 5, 6, 7 due up this inning for the home team. Chuck Harrison still on the mound here for the Commodores as he comes home now with his first pitch of this inning, and it's downstairs for ball 1. Justin Williams from Penn State, one of 2 Penn Staters on this Wareham team. The other one is a pitcher in Tyler Shingledecker. As the 1-0 is in for strike 1. Williams hit .300 this past season for the Nittany Lions in 40 games that he played. Had 16 total extra base hits as pitch number 3 of this at-bat is downstairs for ball 2, excuse me.
The Big Ten pretty well represented on Wareham's team. You have Cade Kern from Ohio State, Ted Burton from Michigan, 2 Penn State players as well. And we saw last night from Chatham, Maryland's David Falco as well.
2 balls, 1 strike here as Harrison comes home with it, and a big swing and a miss from Harrison evens up the count at 2-2. Hear that wind here from Spillane Field as Harrison comes home with the 2-2, and just outside as the count runs full here on Justin Williams. Harrison's longest outing this past season with UCLA was 2 innings of work, and again, this is his first start at the collegiate level. In 2 seasons so far with UCLA, he's only come in out of the bullpen as the payoff pitch is down in the dirt, and Justin Williams with a leadoff walk.
The leadoff walk is not what Harrison wanted to do, but for the second straight inning, the second time today, the Gatemen get the leadoff runner on, and Falmouth did a good job. Harrison did a good job of bouncing back in the first inning after the leadoff single for Jarvis, but now a walk. You're just throwing more pitches than you usually would, and you just have to bounce back after that.
So with Williams leading off of first, we'll see Angelo DiSpina step in now. Left-handed hitter who stands at 6'5". And he cranks the first pitch up the middle. It's grounded by Curiali, flips it over to second for Taylor, and the throw on to first not in time. They get the out at second, so Williams is cut off on the base path. Safe at first is DiSpina, and there's now 1 gone.
Well, that was a slow turn up the middle. Curiali had trouble getting it out of his glove, and then Taylor, with the way that the ball came out of the hand of Curiali, he was kind of behind second base, so Braden Taylor at second had to turn his body a little bit and then turn again to make the throw over to first, and just took too much time with the 6'5" DiSpina running down the line.
That brings up Nick Samillo now, and he takes strike 1 here with 1 gone in the bottom of the second. Scoreless here from Wareham. Wareham with 1 hit so far in this ball game as the pitch comes home, and it's downstairs for ball 1. Angelo DiSpina leads off of first. Wareham has not gotten further than second on the base paths here in the early goings of this ball game. As Harrison set, big deep breath, and the pitch home, foul down the left field line and out of play as it soars over our head. And some kids will take a charge down to try and get that ball. Count now 1-2. Samillo, a junior from Manhattan College. 30 starts this past year for the Jaspers. Hit .284 for them. The 1-2 is fouled high in the air behind home plate. And will it stay in play? It does, but Jake Meyer unable to make the grab behind the dish. And so the count stays at 1-2. Looked like it had a chance to potentially get out of play, but it may have hit some of that wind that's coming in from the right side of play and carried it back in.
Well, that's the toughest play to make as a catcher, running straight back to the backstop, but then look up Meyer looked up pretty late, took his mask off, and he overran it just a little bit. As you mentioned, David, that wind pulling it back in play. And now it's another opportunity.
Another 1-2, and again fouled, this time over towards the Commodores' dugout. So we stay here with a 1-2 count. Samillo making Harrison work here in the bottom half of the second. Both Falmouth and Wareham looking for their first wins of the season. A couple of East Division teams. And another 1-2. This one fouled back, and I think it went off the mask of the home plate umpire, and everybody quick to check on him, and fortunately, everything okay. Samillo this past year at Manhattan was named second team All-MAC. He was also the MAC preseason player of the year. So a couple of accolades to his name, again, after hitting .284 this past year with the Jaspers. Another 1-2, and this one he lays off as it's upstairs for ball 2.
Preseason player of the year in the conference the last 2 seasons. Hasn't won the award after the regular season yet, but has put together some pretty good numbers in Manhattan College.
2 balls, 2 strikes. 1 out here in the bottom of the second, and the pitch from Harrison swung on and missed. And another strikeout here for Chuck Harrison, his second of the afternoon, and there's now 2 gone.
Well, the use of that breaking ball, that had Samillo off of his, really out of his shoes on a swing. A little bit out in front of it. It had some break running away from him as a right-handed hitter. And just a good location, low in the zone, dropping it out once it gets to the plate. That slider really fell off the shelf.
So with 2 gone, Cade Fergus now steps in and takes ball 1 inside. Fergus, the 8 hitter in this lineup for the Gatemen. Junior from GW. His first game that he's playing here for the Gatemen as the second pitch of this at-bat down in the dirt, and a really good stop by Meyer behind the dish to prevent any advancement from DeSpina at first. Count now 2-0 here on Fergus. Fergus, the only man in this Gatemen lineup who didn't play at all yesterday evening at Katuitt, as the 2-0 pitch gets away from Meyer, and advancing to second is DeSpina. Meyer able to get the ball and prevent any further advancement of the runner, but the count now 3-0 here for Cade Fergus.
How many times did we see yesterday wild pitches or pass balls, and we're seeing them already today? That's 2 now in the game, and it just allows base runners to move up, but you have to understand that these pitchers are throwing to catchers that they've never seen before, and these catchers are catching pitchers that they've never seen before, coming from different schools and even different levels of divisions in the NCAA. So just adjusting in the early season is some of the hiccups they have to get through.
3 balls, no strikes, and swinging on that pitch is Fergus as he fouls it back and out of play. And the count now 3-1. Yeah, and I mean, you mentioned playing with guys, different schools, different levels. You've got right now a battery for Falmouth that is an all Pac-12 battery. Obviously Harrison, the UCLA man, and then Meyer from Washington State. So a couple of guys who, you know, are competing against one another during the regular season, who have to team up here and play with one another, as the 3-1 pitch is outside and low, and Cade Fergus works the walk, and there's now runners on first and second. So that's the second walk of the afternoon from Chuck Harrison, and that'll bring up the 9-hitter Cody Jeffries out of San Diego. Jeffries was named to the All-WCC second team this past season. And he swings and misses at the first pitch of that at-bat, a breaking ball that gets him fooled.
Well, Harrison is showing confidence in the breaking ball, using that after a walk, the first pitch after that to the 9-hitter, just attacking in the strike zone, getting a strike.
The 0-1 pitch just inside. And the count now 1-1 here on Jeffries. Again, Harrison's longest outing with UCLA this past season was 2 innings. And he's already worked 1 2/3 of work so far tonight. No action in the Falmouth bullpen, so we'll expect to see him for an even longer portion of time. And the 1-1 pitch, a check swing, and the appeal down to third. He did not go around, so the count runs up to 2-1.
Well, with a 3-man umpire crew, it's interesting that when you go down to appeal in a situation, runners on first and second, third base umpire is right behind the pitcher's mound, so he has a tough angle to appeal and to look at the check swing.
2-1 pitch is inside for ball 3. And another 3-ball count here for the Gatemen. I'll say, though, we're fortunate to have a 3-man umpire crew. I know some collegiate leagues or some summer ball leagues have to work with a 2-man crew, so we get that benefit as the 5th pitch of that at-bat is inside, and now the base is loaded here as we'll head back to the top of the lineup for Jim Jarvis.
The shortstop, number 28, Jim Jarvis.
Meyer calls time and goes out to talk with his young pitcher out on the mound, try and settle him down. And we saw last night, Matt, a good amount of mound visits from the catchers, but we never saw Mike Landry, the pitching coach for Falmouth, actually go and talk with one of the Commodore pitchers.
Well, I talked to him before the game, and he kind of said he's still getting to know these guys also. So once he gets to know them and how they roll and what makes them sort of get back in his zone after back-to-back walks, we'll probably start to see him more later on in the stages of this summer. But just letting them ride out there is probably what he wants to do now because he doesn't really know how they'll react when he comes out there.
First pitch of the at-bat for Jarvis is fouled down the first base side. And the count now 0-1. Bases loaded here for Wareham in the bottom of the second. Scoreless in this ball game. Despina on third, reached on a fielder's choice, and then Fergus on second, reached on a walk. Jeffries on first, reached on a walk. As the 0-1 pitch here is hit over the right side. Braden Taylor with a diving stop, throw over to first in time. Falmouth prevents the run from getting across. And what a play there by Braden Taylor to get out of the jam. An impressive diving stop gets us out of the inning, gets Harrison out of the jam. And we're still scoreless here from Wareham. And before we head to break, we're going to send it real quick to our sideline reporter, Joanne Bethay.
Thanks, David. The feel of this game versus yesterday is just so different. Yesterday, we had clear blue skies, so much action. By the top of the third yesterday, it was already Falmouth 3, Anglers 2, and today we are still scoreless. So it's really incredible how 2 games can feel just so different, but I think that's what's so fun about this league at the beginning is that you get to see so many different guys playing, you know, so many different skills that are out there. So you're just getting a lot of different action and different angles at the beginning of this season.
Yeah, we definitely are seeing all sorts of different level and action, and, you know, these guys just getting used to playing with one another. These teams haven't even been assembled for a week yet, and these teams or these guys, you know, have only been up here for a few days and already playing competitions with and against one another. And Matt, that's just one of the joys that we get with summer baseball.
Yeah, just seeing guys go out there like Braden Taylor showed up 2 days ago to Falmouth, and he comes up in the biggest spot probably of this game so far. Maybe, I mean, last night in a tight game, probably Jake Meyer coming through with a single was the biggest spot of the season. But one of the biggest spots so far in the first 2 games, the bases loaded after 2 walks and a fielder's choice, so no hits in the inning, and the bases get loaded in the top half of this inning. And Braden Taylor, the Big 12 Freshman of the Year, has just so much range at second base, goes to his right up the middle, sliding play, and a strong throw to first. They strand the bases loaded. If he doesn't make that play, at least 1 run scores, and he gets Harrison out of the inning unscathed, which is huge. And to see guys from different schools at such a high level of baseball go out there and just perform as one unit is really what is special about this season, and we're seeing that early so far today.
So we go to the top of the third now. Kindreich still out on the mound and still working a no-hitter as Falmouth comes back to the plate looking for that first hit of the ball game. 7-8-9 due up for the Commodores here in the third as Jake Ducart will, or excuse me, 8-9 and 1 due up as Taylor Smith leads things off here for Falmouth. And he takes ball one here from Kindreich. Smith, a name that some Commodores fans will probably remember because he played with Falmouth back in 2019 as he swings and misses at the second pitch of the at-bat. Hit 167 in 60 at-bats with the Commodores 2 years ago. And Smith, who just wrapped up another season at Texas A&M, his junior year, as he takes the third pitch of this at-bat, a breaking ball at the knees for strike two.
Well, Smith a couple of days ago came in with probably the thickest beard of any of these players. Now he's completely clean-shaven. I don't know if he did that before opening day just to keep it going for the rest of the year, but as the pitch comes in high for a ball, he's probably went from the thickest beard to having absolutely nothing and no facial hair on his face now.
So 2-2 the count here on Smith. And he's set down looking on that pitch from Kindreich. Nice fastball that works in, and Smith unable to give a hack at it. And so that's the second strikeout of the ball game for Taylor Smith.
The catcher, number 28, Luke Boyers from Texas Christian.
So we'll head now to the 9-hitter, Luke Boyers, with one gone as Kindreich comes home with the first pitch of this at-bat in for strike one. Boyers struggled last night, went 0 for 5 with 3 strikeouts in the tie against Chatham. Another one of these Horned Frogs that's in the lineup here for Coach Trundy this evening. And he swings and misses at the second pitch of the at-bat and quickly behind 0-2. There's 2 TCU guys on this Commodores team, and both of them have played in both games thus far. As the 0-2 pitch here now from Kindreich is fouled back into the backstop, and it remains at 0-2. Boyers from Bourne, Texas. Hit .307 this past year at TCU. Still looking for that first hit here for Falmouth as the breaking ball inside for the first ball of this at-bat. And again, Falmouth still looking for its first hit of the ball game as the 1-2 here now from Kindreich is upstairs and away for ball two. Kindreich holds the glove in front of his face, shakes off a couple of signs from his catcher, Samillo, and now comes home with the pitch. It's down in the dirt, but a swing and a miss from Luke Boyers, and that's back-to-back Ks here in the third for Larson Kindreich.
That's 2 in the inning and 3 in the last 4 hitters attacking the bottom of the order. So 6, the 6th hitter in Jake Meyer, the 8th hitter in Taylor Smith, and then Luke Boyers, the 9th hitter, going down on strikes. That's where you want to pick up those strikeouts, is attacking and not letting the guys at the bottom of the order get on base.
Back to the top of the lineup now for Cody Colden, who fouls the first pitch of the at-bat out of play as it goes behind home plate over towards one of the parking lots here at Spillane Field. Another good crowd here on hand this evening for this CCBL contest. Last night, a total of 10,808 fans that were at all 5 of the CCBL games that were in action. Fans, of course, excited, anticipated that first game after missing out on the 2020 season, as Colden now behind in the count 0-2 after fouling another pitch off.
That one took the mask off of Samillo behind the dish, so home plate umpire, as courtesy, walks around the plate a little bit, gives him a little bit of time.
No balls, 2 strikes. Pitch here from Kindreich down in the dirt, and another fan and miss from the Commodores batter. It was down in the dirt, so Colden will take off towards first, but the throw in time from Samillo. And so 3 strikeouts in the inning for Larson Kindreich, and that's now 4 in his past 5 batters as he's dealing on the mound. We head to the bottom of the third, still scoreless here from Spillane Field.
provides all natural mosquito and tick control services. Call 866 Ask Mary or go to mosquitomarys.com. Mention the Cape Cod Baseball League and get your first treatment for only $29. Attention, please, a pitching change for the Commodores. Now pitching number 2, Anthony DeFabia. First at
Bottom of the third here from Wareham, and on for the Commodores now to pitch. Anthony DeFabia, who'll take over for Chuck Harrison, as Harrison went through 2 innings of work and allowed just 1 hit, picked up a couple of strikeouts, and allowed 3 walks, but no runs came across as we're still scoreless here in this contest. And DeFabia comes on now for his first outing of the year for the Commodores.
DeFabia out of Stetson University, a school that has produced a couple of Cy Young winners in the last couple of years, Corey Kluber, and also the best pitcher currently on the planet in Jacob deGrom. So DeFabia coming from the likes of Stetson down south, where it's a good program, good development, and now up on the Cape looking to continue that development towards striving to beat deGrom and Kluber.
DeFabia, 5'11", left-handed pitcher, and his first pitch into Tres Gonzalez is upstairs, and it gets away from the catcher Meyer. DeFabia this past season with Stetson had 6 total starts in 16 appearances. Pitched 42 2/3 innings with a 5.06 ERA and allowed hitters to hit just 253 as the second pitch of the at-bat is in for strike 1. Gonzalez struck out back in the first, and DeFabia hits this one up the middle, ranging over to his left to try and track it down is Curiali, and it hits off his chest and back into the grass, and Commodores unable to make the play there. That's another well-placed ball by Wareham, another ball up the middle, and a leadoff single for Tres Gonzalez.
They're going to give him a hit after it eats up Curiali up the middle. He was a couple steps shallow in the outfield, or deep in the infield, depending on how you want to look at it. Ate him up a little bit off of that gravel dirt infield, and just a tough play. Probably, even if he fielded it cleanly and a strong throw over to first, and you'd probably have Gonzalez still safe over there. So getting a hit, his first of the game, Tres Gonzalez.
So with Gonzalez leading off of first, that brings up Paul Skeens now for Wareham. Skeens grounded up the middle to Harrison back in the first. Skeens, a two-way player out of Air Force, can be both a pitcher and an infielder for the whichever team he's on, and that pitch is lined into the Gatemen dugout, and it sends their head coach Don Sneddon and a couple of players running towards the opposite side. There's no harm done there. Count 1-1 here now on Skeens. So far, the leadoff man has reached in every inning for Wareham, but has not come around to score, as the 1-1 is fouled back, and the count now 1-2. Gonzalez again leads off of first. DeFabia looks at him, and as the pitch started to come home, Skeens took off, Gonzalez, took off running, and DeFabia able to get the throw over to first, then the throw down to second in time, and there's one gone here in the bottom of the third. So that's the second time this ball game that a runner has been taken out of play because of a nice move from the pitcher. 1-2 here now to Skeens, And it's in for ball 2.
Aggressive early on the base paths. We've seen both of these sides running first move on left-handed pitchers, and I don't know what the pitchers are seeing, but maybe the runners are tipping themselves that they're going to be running on the first move on the next pitch, and they're able to go over twice now today and pick off 2 runners, 1 for both sides.
Big swing and a miss there from Paul Skeens as Anthony DeFabia has his first strikeout of the afternoon. And that'll now bring up Owen Diodati as there's 2 gone here in the bottom of the 3rd. Diodati with a pop out into foul territory back in the first. That ended the first inning. That's the first pitch of this at-bat. Big swing and a miss. Count 0-1 here on the lefty hitter. Lefty on lefty matchup here with 2 outs in the inning. And the second pitch of this at-bat down in the dirt. And it's now 1-1. Diodati was second on the Alabama team this past season in terms of homers, where he hit 11 home runs and also picked up 40 RBIs, which was second on the team. Is the count now 2-1 here on the lefty hitter. Steps back into the box, and now the 2-1 pitch is upstairs and away, and it's now 3-1. Clouds still hanging heavy here over Spillane Field as the sun continues to set and the lights around the stadium continue to take. As the count now 3-2 here on Diodati. Payoff pitch now from DeFabia is down in the dirt, and that'll be a 2-out walk for the Gatemen as Owen Diodati reaches base for the first time this afternoon.
A lot of free passes early, and the third member of our crew, Joanne's interview earlier today with Jeff Trundy, Coach Trundy talked about the ability of just throwing strikes early in the season, and really all season, but the free passes is what comes back to bite you. It did yesterday against the Chatham Anglers. So far today, Falmouth's done a good job of keeping runners off the bases, but after the free passes, getting out of innings as well.
Justin Williams looks at strike 1 as he steps in now for his second at-bat of the afternoon.
And it just, as the game continues, the free passes, if they continue, it will come back to bite you at some point, and just limiting those is so crucial early in the season.
The 0-1 pitch is fouled out of play, now 0-2. And Falmouth already with 4 walks in this ball game. And we saw the bases get loaded back in the second. But the Gatemen were unable to bring home any runs. As DeFabia comes set on the mound, holds the glove belt high, now kicks and deals home, and the pitch outside for ball 1. Been a quiet game so far offensively for both sides. Wareham has just 1 hit in this contest, or 2 hits in this contest, and Falmouth has yet to pick up a hit as the 1-2 pitch is in there for strike 3 as Justin Williams set down looking, and that's the second strikeout of that inning for Anthony DeFabia, and that's the 3rd and final out. So we'll head to the top of the 4th now. Here, still scoreless from Spillane Field.
Top of the fourth here at Spillane Field. Matt Levine alongside my broadcast partner David Hadar. And scoreless so far between both sides. 3 turns to hit for both sides. And it's much different than what we saw yesterday. 14 runs combined in the game, 20 hits combined between the Anglers and the Commodores. But so far today, 6 times to hit in total and 0 runs to show for it. Michael Curiali out of UCLA in the 2 spot today will lead things off here in the fourth. He walked his first time up. And Larson Kinreich still the left-hander on the mound. First pitch, breaking ball, and a swing and a miss from Curiali. It's 0-1.
Yeah, Matt, last night at this point in the ball game, it was already a 5-4 lead for Chatham, and a very different story here tonight.
0-1 pitch, fastball in the inside corner, but brushes Curiali off the plate, and he takes it for a ball. It's 1-1. Curiali walked and then was caught stealing after the pickoff attempt, and the 1-1 is grounded down the right field line, and it's fair. It'll roll down all the way into the right field corner. Going to second is Curiali, and the ball comes in from the right fielder Gonzalez, and it's a stand-up double to lead off the top of the fourth for Michael Curiali, his second extra base hit in as many days.
Yeah, quite the hit there as it just barely stayed fair down the first base line. A really nice job there of hitting to just keep that in play, and then the hustle from him around the base path. So we saw him pick up a triple last night in what was nearly the game-winning run for Falmouth, but the hustle last night and then the hustle here again today as he's able to work a double out of that hit. And so Falmouth now with their first hit of the ball game.
So 3+ innings it takes for Falmouth to get a hit offensively. Now they finally do. Their third base runner of the day, Curiali, is on base for the second time. Now, as the leadoff man, he's in scoring position as Falmouth looks to strike first in this ball game here in the top of the fourth. Braden Taylor, the hitter, popped up to second his first time up. First pitch breaking ball is in the dirt. Good read by Curiali to slam the brakes on it as he started to run to third about halfway down the line. Thought otherwise as Samillo blocked it right in his chest protector, kept it right in front of him. Curiali heads back to second. So the count 1-0 to the hitter, Braden Taylor, who made a spectacular defensive play to strand the bases loaded earlier in the game. 1-0 pitch, grounded towards the right side, and a good job as Despina feels it and steps on the bag himself at first. And a productive ground out to move Curiali over to third base, and now 90 feet away, Falmouth has a runner in scoring position. And the first runner that could come around to score, first time today, a base runner on either side has reached third base.
Yeah, that's a nice job there by Braden Taylor to hit the ball over to the right side of the infield because that allows Curiali to advance to third. And so good job there of him working that off, and that just shows why it's so important and so helpful to get that leadoff man aboard every inning.
So now Alex Sayer is the hitter with a runner on third and 1 out. First pitch fastball is high and away to the right-handed hitter. And now it is 1-0. Kinreich comes set, and now the 1-0 pitch. On the outside corner, a fastball is a called strike, and it's 1-1 with 1 down. Curiali stands on third after the leadoff double down the right field line. Had a triple into right center field yesterday. And Sayer, who flew out into right field his first time up, takes a ball in the dirt, and now the count moves to 2-1. Another really good stop behind the plate by Samillo. Blocks it right with his chest protector, just dropping to 2 knees, keeping it right in front, almost like a hockey goalie, hovering that chest over the bouncing ball so that it doesn't skip away towards either dugout. Kinreich set at the chest. 2-1 pitch. Driven into the outfield, and it'll drop down for an RBI single into right center field. And the Commodores take a 1-0 lead as Alex Sayer comes through with the first RBI hit of the ball game. It's an RBI single and his first hit as a Commodore.
Yeah, his first hit in his second at-bat for the Commodores, and he turns that into the outfield. And you got to credit the Commodores' bats there. Braden Taylor hitting it over to the right side to allow Curiali to advance to third, and then Sayer driving that into the outfield, picks up a hit of his own. And so good job there by the Commodores of moving Curiali around, and now you get another base runner on.
Jace Borfin takes a called strike at the knees with a fastball. It's 0-1 to the Oklahoma Sooner, who was hit by a pitch in the back his first time up and then stole second. But now Falmouth strikes first for the first time this season. And they lead it 1-0 here in the top of the fourth. 1-0 pitch. Beans Borfin right in the chest, it looked like. Got him a little bit of the shoulder, and that's the second time today he's been hit by a pitch. And he'll take off all of his equipment, his elbow guard, his ankle or shin protector, whatever you want to call it, and he trots down to first base slowly. Now some smiles down there with Coach Ryan Eiley as well. So he's in good spirits after being hit by a pitch twice tonight.
Yeah, the first time he got hit, it was in the back. Second time there was more in towards the rib area, and we could hear it well here. Not sure if that carried through on the broadcast or not, but Borfin certainly all smiles afterwards, which is good to see.
Jake Meyer, the hitter, the catcher tonight with runners on first and second and one out here in the top of the fourth. Falmouth leads over Wareham 1-0 after scoring in this inning. Kinwright comes set, but then steps off and now toes the rubber again. Meyer's first time up, struck out swinging. Yesterday came in as a defensive replacement, did get an at-bat and came through with the go-ahead RBI single, but Chatham was able to tie the game back at 7. And Kinwright steps off the rubber again. Sayer stands on second, Borfin on first. And now some signs from the catcher Samillo towards his infield. Kinwright very cerebral about the situation he's in now on the mound. Has stepped off twice without throwing a pitch yet to Jake Meyer. Now he comes set at the chin. And deals first pitch. Breaking ball is a called strike. A lot of loop on that break. And Meyer takes a look. It's 0-1. Jake Meyer, Washington State Cougars, representing on his spikes today with the Cougars logo. Kinreich set, 0-1 pitch. Fastball, just getting a piece of it. Did Meyer, and he fouls it back behind home plate into the backstop. Now he's behind 0-2. And we've seen a couple of Gatemen batters wear their college helmets with the college logos on their helmets. Falmouth rolls with the Falmouth logo on the batting helmet, but nice to see some of the players representing their colleges with their spikes or their gloves and elsewhere on their body.
Yeah, we've certainly seen a lot of guys so far have cleats from Falmouth that represent their schools, and it's cool to see the different colors that are getting represented despite everyone wearing the same Falmouth uniform.
And here's the 0-2 from Kinreich. Driven towards the left side, and it gets through into the outfield for a base hit. Sayers being waved around to score, and in left field, Diodati bobbles it, so he comes in scoring easily. And now it's 2-0 Falmouth after the RBI single, his second RBI single of the season for Jake Meyer.
Another well-placed hit there by a Commodore batter. Justin Williams a little fooled there as to whether or not to play that ball. It was a little out of his reach over on the left side, and as a result, it gets into the outfield. Good hustle by Sayre to cut around third, a nice turn and score easily. And so after Larson Kinreich was cruising through the first 3 innings, this 4th inning, a whole different story as time is going to be called, and we're going to see the pitching coach for the Gatemen come out to talk with the entire infield.
George Caralejo comes out. Entire infield comes in on the mound. The manager for the Gatemen is Don Snetting, who previously coached them in 2017 and 2018. He then stepped down for 2 years to retire and spend some time with his wife, and then now he's back here on the Cape and coaching the Gatemen once again. So just a quick meeting with Caralejo, the pitching coach for Wareham, and they're going to leave Kinreich in the game with runners on first and second and 1 down. Same situation after the RBI single, just different runners. Now Borfin's on second and Meyer's on first. That soft line drive got through between shortstop and third base for Meyer. And now the first pitch to Ducart is a high fastball, and it's taken for ball 1. Commodores lead 2-0 in the top of the 4th. Matt Levine alongside David Hadar. First time Ducart had a fly out to left field. 1-0 pitch. High fastball fouls it back into the backstop, and it's 1-1.
It's definitely been an impressive inning for the Commodores. After 3 innings of no-hit baseball from Kinreich, 3 hits already in this inning. A couple of runs have come across for the Commodores, and just a completely different story on both sides of the ball for both teams.
1-1 from Kinreich. Fastball, a lot of speed on it, but it's low. Now it's 2-1 to Ducart. Ducart was drafted in the 36th round of the 2018 MLB first-year player draft by the Boston Red Sox. Elected to go to Oregon State instead. Now he's ahead in the count 2-1 as Kinreich comes set on the mound. Lefty kicks and deals. Breaking ball, waved at, checked his swing. Good block by Samillo behind home plate to keep it in front with runners on base, and the count moves to 3-1.
And they appeal down to third, but again, like you mentioned earlier, Matt, the the third base umpire is over towards second right now because of the way the runners are positioned on the field. But he did not go around. We could tell from our angle here he didn't, and the umpire upholds that.
So the count 3-1. Here's the pitch to Ducart. Lines it right side on one hop. It's fielded by Jeffries. He throws to second, and then the relay over to first is in time for an inning-ending tailor-made 4-6-3 double play. That's exactly what they drew up after the pitching, or the pitching coach rather came onto the mound for the Gatemen. They talk to the infield, and what do? Kinreich rolls a double play, a 4-6-3, turned by Jeffries, then Jarvis and Despina, and Falmouth scores 2 in the top of the 4th, so they now lead 2-0 as the Wareham Gatemen come to bat, trailing for the first time today. To the bottom of the 4th here at Spillane Field. Matt Levine alongside David Hadar. Falmouth with a 2-0 lead after scoring twice in the top half of this 4th inning. And the Gatemen will send 6, 7, 8 to the plate. Angelo Despina will lead things off out of Mercer. First time today, he grounded into a fielder's choice. And the first pitch from DeFabia, who's back on the mound for his 2nd inning of work, is a breaking ball low. And it's 1-0. Despina, the sophomore infielder from Mercer. Originally out of Lawrenceville, Georgia. 1-0 pitch, another breaking ball stays low, and now it's 2-0. DeFabia, a two-way player on the mound. Left-handed pitcher and an outfielder as well. 2-0 pitch. And he checked his swing, but he was hit by it. They'll say he did not go around, so they appeal down to third. Now third base umpire confirms he did not go around, so it will be a hit by pitch, and Despina's on base to lead things off here in the 4th.
It was a little close there. DeFabia thought maybe that Despina went around on that swing, but the umpire has confirmed he didn't. And so another leadoff man aboard. Every inning so far for the Gatemen, they've gotten the leadoff man on in some way, shape, or form. Have yet to be able to bring that run across, though, and different spot now because this is the first time all game that they come to the plate trailing.
That brings up Nick Samillo. First pitch is on the outside corner, taken for a ball. It's 1-0. A single back in the first led things off for Jim Jarvis. Then Justin Williams walked to lead off the second. Tres Gonzalez led off the third with a hit. And then a hit by pitch for Despina gets him on to lead off the 4th. Pickoff attempt as DeFabia just lobs in the ball over to first base. Taylor Smith doesn't even apply the tag, and he throws it back as Despina got in standing up. So getting the leadoff man on 4 straight times offensively is a recipe for success, but they haven't been able to bring one home just yet today. As the 1-0 comes on the outside corner for a called strike, it's 1-1. Luke Boyers, Braden Taylor, the second baseman, shades well up the middle with the right-handed hitter in Samillo. And he grounds it right to where Taylor is. Now flipped to second. Curiali will have no play over to first with the speedy runner Samillo digging down 90 feet towards first base. So it's a fielder's choice for Nick Samillo, a 4-6 turn. And that ball was hit on the absolute screws of the bat. So Braden Taylor had a hard time. It came on one hop. It was hit to exactly where he was defensively, but one hop ate him up a little bit, and then he had just enough time to get it over to second for the force.
Yeah, you mentioned, too, that, we were talking earlier about this infield. It's kind of like a gravel-like substance, and it's fine gravel, but it's still gravel nonetheless. And so that kind of probably played into it, too, a little tougher to read the ball.
And the bunt is placed down by Fergus. Good play by DeFabia off the mound, but that speed from Cade Fergus on the first pitch. He gets the bunt down the third base line, and he's able to beat it out. As DeFabia came off the mound and is a two-way player and outfielder, able to field his position on the mound pretty well. Had a nice throw over to first, just a tad late. And now runners on first and second with one down here in the top of the fourth for the 9-hitter Cody Jeffries. And Mike Landry, the pitching coach, is going to come out and talk to DeFabia.
Going back to that at-bat, a well-placed bunt by Fergus. It's not something that the Commodores were expecting, was for him to show bunt, especially there with a runner on first and only one out in the inning. And he lays down a really good bunt, kind of just died in the grass. And DeFabia with a strong throw, which you don't always see from pitchers. Sometimes that throw can kind of be tough on them. But a good throw there by DeFabia, and he was just a second or two late. And a good hustle by Cade Fergus to beat it out.
So Mike Landry with a quick meeting out with Anthony DeFabia on the mound. He now faces somewhat of a jam for the first time with 2 runners on base. 5 base runners stranded already for Wareham. And now runners on first and second with 1 out. First pitch to Jeffries. Low fastball, good block in the dirt again by the catcher Meyer. And it's 1-0. DeFabia had 16 appearances on the mound at Stetson this past season, 19 games played in the field in the outfield. 8 of them starts as a hitter and 6 starts on the mound. Comes set at the belt, takes a long look at second. Now the 1-0 pitch. Fastball catches the inside corner. It's 1-1. Originally from Bronxville, New York, and Iona Prep High School, but chose to take the route of going to Stetson down in Florida. Shows them over the likes of staying home at Stony Brook, close to home, and Notre Dame and Boston College as well. 1-1 breaking ball is inside and low. It's 2-1. So a couple of Power 5 ACC offers, but choosing to go the route of Stetson that, again, as I mentioned earlier, produced 2 of the best pitchers in the world, Jacob deGrom and Corey Kluber. DeFabia set at the belt again, takes a long look at second. And now the 2-1. Popped up foul and out of play behind the backstop, and the count evens up at 2-2. Nick Samillo out of Manhattan College stands on second. Cade Fergus out of George Washington University stands on first. And Cody Jeffries, the hitter from San Diego, even up in the count 2-2. Lefty-lefty matchup between DeFabia and Jeffries. 2-0. Falmouth has the lead here in the top of the fourth. Bottom of the fourth, rather. It's scoring 2 in the top of the fourth. Set at the belt is DeFabia, the 2-2. Driven out into center field. Coming in is the center fielder, Boyers, to make the catch. Throw to second, and Braden Taylor couldn't find the bag, but it would have been a double play had he stepped on the bag in time. And those are 2 of the TCU teammates we were talking about earlier. And Samillo came off the bag at second, thought that was going to be in the gap on a line drive, so he took an extra secondary lead, but was just able to get back into second safely because the throw took Braden Taylor off the bag just a little bit, but there's 2 down. Jeffries hit that ball on a line Had it been in the gap, likely would have scored 2 to tie the game, but good range from Boyers out in center to line it up, and the lineup card flips back over to Jim Jarvis up at the top. First pitch breaking ball gets away from Meyer. Runners are going to advance up 90 feet without a throw. And now 2 runners in scoring position, runners on second and third, count 1-0, and 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th.
Well, that was a good job there by Meyer to keep it in front of him, but it just did get a little too far away. We've seen him have to go down in the dirt a lot, and we've obviously touched on, the catcher-pitcher relationship and just how it's still forming. So definitely for Meyer there, a good job to at least prevent any further damage.
1-0, ground ball, high bouncer, goes to Curiali. His throw gets away from the first baseman Taylor, and both runners come in to score. On his way to second is Jarvis, and he's there safely. So now the game is tied 2-2 as the Gatemen get 2 back on a routine ground ball. But what made that so crazy was that Braden Taylor came in the second baseman charging it. Curiali was the one who fielded it. It took such a high bounce that it led him towards the way that Braden Taylor was standing. He had to duck under the throw. Curiali had to hesitate a second, and then his throw bounced away from Taylor Smith over at first. And just a crazy sequence of events that ties the game on the error from the shortstop, Michael Curiali. It's an out runner on second for Trez Gonzalez. And the first pitch is a fastball high. It's 1-0.
And that's now already in this young season 3 errors by the Commodores fielding.
1-0 pitch taken low below the knees on a fastball, now 2-0.
And obviously Coach Trundy earlier talking about, clean some things up, and I'm sure he's not going to be happy about that play there. It was a tough play for Curiali to make just because of where the ball was placed and how close he was to Taylor, but nonetheless, that's still a throw you should get over to first.
2-0 pitch is another low fastball, now 3-0 to Gonzalez after the 2 runs come in. Would have been a ground out to end the inning to keep the Gatemen scoreless, but instead it's tied at 2-2 here in the 4th. 3-0 pitch. Fastball down the middle for a called strike, and it's 3-1. That was a get-me-over fastball, and Trez Gonzalez had the red light. 1 for 2 today, Gonzalez is. He had a single in the 3rd and struck out looking his first time up. DeFabio looking to get out of it with a tie ball game. Comes set at the belt. Looks at Jarvis on second. 3-1 pitch. Called, strike in the same exact spot at the belt, and now it's a full count. 1 pitch away from getting out of this, limiting the damage to just 2 runs, both unearned to DeFabio. Set, takes a look at Jarvis on second again. Payoff pitch. Ground ball towards the right side. Taylor fields it, almost ate him up, but now he throws on to first in time, and that retires the side. But Wareham gets 2 runners back after the error and the throw from Michael Curiali got away from Taylor Smith at first. It's 2-2 as we head to the 5th. Falmouth coming to bat with another tie ball game.
Attention, please. A pitching change for the Gatemen. Now pitching.
To the top of the fifth here at Spillane Field. Tied at 2 now between the Gatemen and the Commodores, and a new pitcher on the mound in Spencer Miles for Wareham. As Larson Kinreich's day is done, he went 4 innings, gave up 3 hits, 2 runs, both of them earned, a walk, and 4 strikeouts. And the right-hander Spencer Miles from Mizzou will come on in relief.
Yeah, good outing overall by Kinreich, especially the first 3 innings of which he had no-hit baseball. 4th inning got away from him a little bit. Gatemen able to come back in the bottom half of the inning and even things up. So kind of a fresh start here now for Spencer Miles, who comes in 2-2 ball game, his first appearance of the season here for the Gatemen.
Taylor Smith, the first baseman, struck out his first time up. He'll lead things off out of the 8th spot, and the first pitch strike on the outside corner with a fastball. Miles is ahead 0-1. Miles, the sophomore right-hander, stands at 6'3", 183 pounds. 0-1 pitch. Missed tying in, and now Smith evens it up at 1-1.
And I'd have to bet Miles this summer here on the Cape going to try and work on that ERA, 7.01 ERA this past season with Mizzou in a total of 60 1/3 innings of work.
The 1-1 taken high at the chin to Smith, and it's 2-1. 16 appearances, 10 starts on the mound for the Tigers this past season. 2-6 record. Now the 2-1 pitch. Smith, big cut at the fastball down the middle, and he missed it. It's 2-2. Held a .298 opponent batting average. So struggled a little bit in his sophomore season with Mizzou. Now steps off the mound in the windup. Let's go over the signs once more. Here's the 2-2. Fouled off into the backstop by Smith, and he stays alive with 2 strikes. A lot of fastballs so far in this at-bat, and the first appearance for Spencer Miles so far this summer. Had 4 appearances with 2 starts in 2020 in the shortened season for Mizzou. He was part of the weekend rotation. 2-2, missed upstairs with a fastball to Taylor Smith, and now it's a full count. Luke Boyer stands on deck, and then Cody Colden at the top of the order in the hole. Here in the top of the 5th, tied at 2 between Wareham and Falmouth. 3-2 pitch. Missed upstairs to Taylor Smith, and he's the leadoff man on with a walk. His first time on base today, and his first time on base in 2021 as a Commodore.
Yeah, and that's also just the second time today that the Commodores have started off the inning with the leadoff man reaching. They did it back in the 4th when Curiali doubled down the right field line, and obviously he came around to score the first run of the ball game for Falmouth. So we'll see if they can try and repeat that here with the leadoff man getting aboard.
Luke Boyers comes up, struck out his first time up. First pitch fastball missed inside. It's 1-0. Boyers now really struggling. Went 0 for 5 yesterday, so 0 for 6 total. In his first 6 plate appearances, has struck out 4 times and grounded into a double play as well. Looking for that first hit. 1-0, pops it foul over to the left side and out of play off the school, Wareham High School behind us. And now it's 1-1. David, the weird part about this field is it's probably about 20 feet until you reach the building of the school right behind us. Now the 1-1. And it beans Boyers in the back of the leg, and he's on base for the first time. I mean, not the way he wanted to get on, but after going 0 for 6, he's on base for the first time as a Commodore.
And that's the 3rd time today that a player for the Commodores has been hit by a pitch, and so runners on 1st and 2nd now. To go back real quick to what you were saying about the school, I think the other thing that it does that is kind of a weird thing is that because the area around home plate isn't covered by the school, the wind comes in heavy there, but the rest of the field is covered by the school, so the wind kind of doesn't hit right around the 3rd base area, but then you get out towards right field and it's howling out there. So an interesting design all around.
So runners on 1st and 2nd for the top of the order in Cody Colden. Corners play in, bunt is shown, and he fouls it right off the catcher, Samillo, and Samillo's in some pain. I think when the bunt went down, Samillo dropped to a knee, and the foul ball came right down off the bat into his thigh, which is not covered by the leg protector. Puts the mask right back on, and as a catcher behind the dish, a tough guy Nick Samillo is, so he'll get back into his crouch. Home plate umpire wipes off the plate a little bit to save some time and give Samillo some time to recuperate. The count 0-1. Colden today 0 for 2, lined out to left field and struck out in both times up. Miles set on the mound with runners on first and second. Swinging away is Colden, and he fouls it right off the light post beyond the first base side. And now it's 0-2. And talk about a loud strike. You can hear that bang off the light post, as well as the old-fashioned ring to the lights when they are turned on here at night. 0-2 count, nobody out, runners on first and second. And now the corners play back in the infield, so Boyers will get a big lead off first. 0-2 pitch, popped up towards the right side. Going out is Jeffries. Coming in is Fergus. And Jeffries, the second baseman, makes the catch a couple steps into center field. And there's one down.
And a ball that just got Colden jammed up on as he got under that one, and the second baseman Jeffries able to retreat and call off the outfielders to get to that ball. So one gone here now and still runners on first and second, but that's a big first out for Wareham because you've got a forced play at all three of the infield bases, and that gives an opportunity for a potential double play if they can get a good ball here from Curiali.
So Curiali, the two-hitter, is 1 for 1 today, a double and a walk. He scored when he reached base on the double. And that led off the fourth inning where Falmouth scored 2 runs. Tied at 2 here in the top of the fifth. The first pitch to Curiali from Miles is outside. It's 1-0. So you have Smith on second. He reached via a walk. Boyers on first. He reached via the hit by pitch. Colden popped up to the second baseman, Jeffries. So now there's one down here in the top of the fifth. And the two-hitter Curiali in the batter's box. 1-0 pitch. Lines it down the right field line, hooking away from Gonzalez, and it's off the fence on one hop. Being waved home around is Smith, and following him up will be the runner Boyers. The play at the plate, Boyers slides in head first, and he's thrown out at the plate. A beautiful relay from Gonzalez to Despina, and then Camillo applies the tag as Boyers got dirty sliding in head first, almost got under the tag. But nonetheless, it's an RBI double for Curiali as he drives in yet another run and another extra base hit for the UCLA Bruin.
Curiali continues to just hit so well at the plate. He went 2 for 4 yesterday in the ballgame, and he's now 2 for 2 here this afternoon. Another double to his name, already his third extra base hit of the season, and he is showing off early here in the Cape. Both of the UCLA guys tonight having good outings for the Commodores.
Braden Taylor, the hitter out of TCU. First pitch on the inside corner is a called strike. So now 2 down. The score 3-2. Falmouth has the lead in the top of the fifth. And another runner in Michael Curiali stands on second in scoring position. Braden Taylor today is 0 for 2. Popped up to second base and grounded out to first. Both of his times up. 0-1. Big cut at the fastball low in the zone. And it's 0-2. Alex Sayer stands on deck. He has an RBI single today, should the inning continue. Just such a good relay throw from Gonzalez to Despina, and then Camillo applied the tag. 9-3-2 on the out. And now the 0-2's popped up towards the left side. Williams, the third baseman, goes and gives it chase, and it goes out of play. But something we talked about earlier, this field being so weird. There's a field goal post for football that is situated on the field, technically in play, not in fair territory, but in foul territory. And that ball was headed right towards it. I think it went beyond to the left of it and out of play a little bit more. So a long run for both Diodati in left and Williams at third. 0-2 with 2 outs. Here's the pitch. Taylor watches strike 3 on the changeup that just dropped from his letters into the zone just a little bit, and he strikes out, looking to end the top of the fifth. But Michael Curiali comes through after committing an error in the bottom half of the fourth and allowing 2 runs to score off of that error to tie the game for Wareham. He then comes through offensively in the top of the fifth to drive in yet another run and have another extra base hit to his name. The Commodores take a 1-run lead into the bottom of the fifth. It's 3-2. Bottom of the 5th here at Spillane Field. Matt Levine alongside David Hadar, and Falmouth grabs a 1-run lead. Now it's 3-2 here in the bottom of the 5th. It'll be 3-4-5 though up for the Gatemen, and Paul Skeens will lead things off. The Air Force product is 0 for 2 today. Ground out to the pitcher back in the first. Harrison made a nice play, and then he struck out his last time up. DeFabia still on the mound through 2 innings so far. First pitch, float out into shallow center. Coming in is Boyers. He dives and makes a spectacular grab in shallow center. After getting thrown out at the plate on the base paths in the previous inning, in the top half of the 5th, he makes a spectacular catch, diving full extension in shallow center, coming a long way and showing his range defensively.
Yeah, right. Quite the play there from Boyers out in center. We saw him turn on the jets as he was going around the base pass, and obviously he ended up getting caught out at home. Turns on the jets again there, and that time able to make the play.
So now the first pitch from DeFabia to Owen Diodati is a called strike. And it's 0-1 with 1 out, and DeFabia happy with that. What could have been another leadoff hit is instead a spectacular catch out in center, and the 0-1 is a foul ball, so now it's 0-2. First time today that the Gatemen have not had the leadoff base runner on.
And I bet that DeFabia is pretty happy about that, not allowing that guy on. Don't have to worry nearly as much here now with Diodati up at the plate.
The lights shining down here at Spillane Field. The 0-2 pitch, big swing and a miss on the outside corner, strike 3. And DeFabia with his first strikeout, or his third actually, of this outing. Now in almost his 3rd inning of work. He's through 2 2/3 with 3 strikeouts. And to get the first 2 guys out in an inning is huge. Getting that leadoff guy on really sets the tone the rest of the way.
It sure does. And, I mean, we saw Falmouth able to battle in the first 3 innings. The 4th got away from them a little. And here this inning, 2 quick outs, which DeFabia definitely happy about.
First pitch is foul ball from Justin Williams, the Nittany Lion. Hits it back into the backstop. It's 0-1 with 2 down, nobody on base. Out of the windup, the 0-1 from DeFabia. Changeup missed on the outside corner, so now it's 1-1. DeFabia likes to work quickly. That could have something to do with him being a two-way player. Fielders like when pitchers work quickly, and might have that outfielder's mentality a little bit on the mound. 1-1. Popped up behind home plate, giving chase is Meyer. He took his mask off, but it'll go into about the 3rd row of stands and ricochet around before some kids will go and chase after it for a souvenir. Now it's 1-2, and DeFabia is ahead in the count with 2 outs.
The way the sky is colored right now, it's still overcast. In areas it looks like some blue may be peeking out, but the sun is really starting to set, and it's just when the ball goes straight up like that, it's tougher to find the ball, tougher to read, and we'll see if that has any sort of issue as this game continues in this current lighting.
So here's the 1-2 from DeFabia. Breaking ball, good block with nobody on base by Meyer, and missed out of the zone. It's 2-2. DeFabia played for his father at Tuckahoe High School before transferring to Iona Prep, where he spent his junior and senior seasons, though his senior season was canceled due to the global pandemic. 2-2 fastball misses high and away, and now the count runs full with 2 outs. Justin Williams so far today is 0 for 1. He walked back in the 2nd, struck out looking in the 3rd, and now bats here in the 5th. DeFabia shakes off the signs a couple times. Now the 3-2 pitch. Called strike 3 on the inside corner, and Justin Williams goes down looking. Back-to-back strikeouts for Anthony DeFabia to close out the 5th, and Falmouth carries a 3-2 lead into the 6th inning here from Spillane Field. Top of the 6th here from Spillane Field, where the Commodores hold a 3-2 lead over the Wareham Gatemen in the second game of the 2021 Cape Cod Baseball League season. After tying last night with the Chatham Anglers, Falmouth tied 7-7 last night. They come back today, take a 2-0 lead in the 4th, give it right back up in the bottom of the 4th to tie it, and then they get one back in the 5th. And now Alex Sayre will lead things off with a new pitcher on the mound, Richard Fitz, for the Gatemen. First pitch from Fitz is a hard fastball upstairs. It's 1-0. Fitz out of Auburn University, native of Alabama as well. 1-0. Bounces in the fastball, and it's now 2-0. Had 13 appearances in 2021 for the Tigers, 8 starts on the mound, 1-3 record, and had a 5.88 ERA. 2-0 to Sayre is a called strike down the middle, and now it's 2-1. Sayre today is 1 for 2, had an RBI single back in the 4th and scored as well, and had a fly out to right field his first time up. 2-1, big cut from Sayre, and he pulled his head out of it, almost looking towards our way, down the third base line a little bit. And now the count evens up at 2-2. Richard Fitz in the windup, 2-2. Fastball just missing away. It's a full count.
Fitz also was initially going to be the starter tonight for Wareham before they ended up sending Larson Kindreich out on the mound.
Now the 3-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss, strike 3. And the first batter that comes up to the plate to face Richard Fitz is Alex Sayre, and he goes down on strikes.
Yeah, good job there by Fitz. Some good heat that he had behind a couple of those pitches, and the two that Sayre ended up swinging at just couldn't make any contact with. Both get fanned by him, and there's one gone now for Borfin.
Borfin's 0 for 2 today, 0 for 0 today rather, hit by a pitch twice. And he swings at the first pitch, 0-1.
I bet he'd like to reach base just with a hit, finally not get hit by a pitch.
I think he'd appreciate maybe even a walk as well, but he's been hit in the square in the back right between the numbers, and then also in the rib cage area. Both have been pretty loud enough for us to hear through our headsets. The 0-1. Fastball, good frame job by Smillo, but he doesn't get the call. It's on the outside corner, and it missed. It's 1-1. Fitz works quickly on the mound. 1-1 pitch. Popped up towards the left side, tailing into foul territory a little bit. Williams under it, and now he makes the catch moving towards his left a little bit as the wind really swirled that one up in the air. There's 2 down here in the top of the 6th, but when you see it reach its apex, it kind of just ran back in play a little bit after coming into foul territory, and Williams had to adjust and get under it again.
Yeah, for a second I wonder if it was maybe going to fall in our little booth area here down the third base line. Fortunately, the wind takes it away, takes it closer towards Williams, and he's able to get the out. Also fight the colors of the sky against that white ball.
First pitch to Jake Myers, a called strike. 0-1 to the catcher from Washington State. 1 for 2 today with an RBI single in the 4th, and he struck out his first time up. 2 RBI singles on the year so far for Meyer. And he takes the 0-1 pitch low for a fastball and a ball. It's 1-1. Richard Fitz on the mound from Auburn, ranked 2nd among Auburn freshmen in 2019 with 21 appearances and 5 starts. 1-1, called strike on the inside corner, and it's 1-2. And that was a big grunt from Fitz on the mound after releasing that pitch. Now he's ahead in the count 1-2. And here comes the pitch. Breaking ball, missed. Just close to the outside corner. But a good take from Jake Meyer nonetheless. It's 2-2.
A real close take there by Meyer. A little fortunate, I think, at least from our angle, it looked like that he didn't get a strike called against him.
2-2 pitch from Fitz. Popped up, and it'll go out of play. And we'll stay at 2-2. Richard Fitz was the number 27 player and number 11 right-handed pitcher out of the state of Alabama in his recruiting class. Going back to his freshman year at Auburn, he also ranked 2nd on the team in wins with 5 as a pitcher. 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3 at the low fastball, and Meyer goes down swinging for the 2nd time today. A 1-2-3 inning for Richard Fitz with 2 strikeouts. Gets the come to bat, trailing by 1. 3-2. Falmouth has the lead as we head to the bottom of the 6th. Bottom of the 6th, the Commodores with a 3-2 lead. As Chase Jeter, new pitcher for the Commodores, takes the mound, the left-hander out of Sacred Heart University. And he'll come in after a really solid job by Anthony DeFabia, who replaced Chuck Harrison on the mound. So far, really good pitching for the Commodores today. And Angelo Despina, the first baseman, will lead things off. 0 for 1 with a hit by pitch. First pitch swinging. And the lefty-lefty matchup, it goes to Jeter on the first pitch. It's 0-1. Jeter, native of West Hartford, Connecticut. Junior left-hander, stands at 6 feet tall. 0-1. Big swing and a miss again at the inside fastball. Now it's 0-2.
And he just wrapped up, even though it was his second season at Sacred Heart, it was his first season actually playing because he didn't play last year. He spent the 2018-19 season at Dartmouth, so just wrapped up that first season with Sacred Heart.
0-2, missed upstairs a little bit, so it's 1-2. Jeter really has had success on the mound in high school. And when you look back at most of these high prospects, they do have that. 1-2. Missed in the same spot, just a little bit high and in, and now it's 2-2. And talk about that success for Jeter in high school. He threw a perfect game at William Hall High School.
Yeah, regardless of the level you do it at, throwing a perfect game is super impressive, and it's cool to have that associated with your name.
2-2, just nubbed foul off the end of the bat. Almost hits our cameraman, Andrew Corbett, down the line.
He's all smiles, though. Good to see from Corbsy.
Gives us a little wave. Luckily, he has a little hitting screen in front of him to protect the camera, not only, but also him. And the count stays at 2-2 with Jeter on the mound facing the left-hander Despina. 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3 on the outside fastball, and Jeter blows it right by him. But then Jake Meyer tries to throw it around the horn, and he throws it away from Ducard at third base and into left field. So after a really good strikeout, you get somewhat of a not-so-great look from Jake Meyer throwing it away, but at least it does not count, and there's one down.
Yeah, nobody on the base paths. It's all good. Just get a new ball, a fresh start there. I'm sure Meyer's going to try and scrub that from his memory.
Yeah, immediately he went down to wipe his hand on the plate. Just not a great look, but at least it does not count. So 3-2 the score, and the first pitch to Samillo is on the outside corner, a called strike, 0-1, and Jeter has been attacking the zone and using that velocity as well. 0-1 pitch. Check swing on the inside corner, but it missed for a ball, and he did not go around, so it's 1-1.
And, Matt, when we came back from break, you were talking about pitching again tonight has been good for Falmouth, and I think that's been an early storyline in this season for the Commodores has been their pitching. It's certainly been a strength.
1-1 is hit high in the air to center field, and Boyers has it lined up in straightaway center, and he makes the catch under the dusk sky here in Wareham. And now there's 2 down here in the 6th.
I mean, you look at yesterday's outing for the Commodores and 13 combined strikeouts against the Chatham batters, and here tonight again, have only allowed Wareham to score 2 runs, have had a couple of 1, 2, 3 innings thus far, and all around good job by the pitching staff to just keep Falmouth in another game.
Cade Fergus, the hitter now. First pitch, changeup, misses outside. It's 1-0. DeFabia was the pitcher before Jeter came in. He went 3 innings, 2 hits, 2 runs. Neither were earned. They both scored on the error from Curiali, and then 1 walk and 4 strikeouts. There's been 7 combined strikeouts so far today for these pitchers. No earned runs. Just the 2 runs allowed after the error scored both of them on Michael Curiali's throw. 1-0 pitch comes high from Jeter. It's 2-0. 2-0 the count with 2 down here in the bottom of the 6th. It's 3-2 Commodores. And Jeter deals. Another fastball a little bit inside to Fergus, and it's 3-0. Fergus today has walked in the 2nd inning and then singled and came around to score in the 4th. Way ahead in the count, 3-0 here. Here's the pitch. Just missed with a fastball in the inside corner and low. And Fergus works a 4-pitch walk and is a 2-out base runner for the Gatemen.
And Fergus was one of those guys who came around to score back in the 4th. He ended up being at what was at the time the game-tying run, and he goes on base now as the game-tying run again here with 2 outs.
So that will bring up Cody Jeffries, the 9-hitter in the order. And the first pitch to the left-handed hitter is low for a ball. It's 1-0. Jeffries today walked his first time up, flew out into center field in the 4th. And now bats with the tying run on first base here in the bottom of the 6th. Jeter set and deals. 1-0 pitch is on the inside corner for a called strike. It's 1-1. Seen a lot of base runners on both sides be aggressive today. 2 lefties in the game. Kinreich and DeFabia on the mound have picked off runners trying to steal, but the runners have gone in the first move from the left-hander. And now Jeter, a lefty, comes set at the belt. 1-1 pitch. Popped up, fouling out of play behind the backstop, actually to the left of it a little bit. It goes into the parking lot behind Spillane Field, and now it's 1-2. So the count 1-2 as Jeter comes set from Sacred Heart, the pioneer on the mound. Takes a look at first, and he picks him off, and the runner's trying to steal. Throw from Smith, Taylor Smith over to second to Curiali. He tags him out. And another time that the Falmouth pitchers go over for a pickoff attempt and cue it right, really get it right on cue. As the runner, Cade Fergus, was trying to steal, he gets picked off. It's a 1-3-6 pickoff attempt, and that ends the inning. So Chase Jeter faces the minimum of 3 batters in his first outing here for the Commodores. And at the end of the 6th inning, it's 3-2 Commodores, and we head into the 7th. Commodores looking for their first win of the season.
Top of the 7th here from Spillane Field. Richard Fitz still out on the mound for Wareham as the Commodores come back to bat with 7, 8, 9 due up this half inning. Jake Ducart will lead things off here for the visiting Falmouth Commodores. As he steps into the box, lefty hitter, first pitch he sees, he lines up the left side of the field, and it'll go all the way to the glove of Owen Diodati. So on for his first hit of the ball game is Jake Ducart, also his first hit as a Commodore, and an early leadoff man for Falmouth.
Well, a pitch on the outside corner, a fastball on the first pitch, just drives it the other way. Ducart did. That's picture-perfect hitting. Driving it the other way, taking it where it was pitched on the outside corner, getting on base as another leadoff man is aboard. As we head into the final 3 innings, Falmouth looking to get some more runs on the board as they only lead by 1.
Fitz with a quick throw over to first. Back in safely with a head-first slide is Ducart. Twice today, the Commodores have had the leadoff man reach base, and both times that runner has come around to score. It was Michael Curiali in the 4th, and then in the 5th, it was Taylor Smith, who stands at the plate now, and the first pitch that he sees catches the inside corner for strike 1. Smith this afternoon, 0 for 1. He reached base back in the 5th via a walk. Another quick throw over to first, another head-first slide from Ducart, as Fitz has thrown over a couple times there with Ducart. And another throw over There's a bigger lead that time, and he's back in safely yet again. Ducart didn't have any stolen bases this past season with Oregon State, but Fitz certainly keeping him close out on the mound. Another look over towards him, and now Fitz comes set, holds the ball belt high, and now comes home with the second pitch of this at bat, and again catches the inside corner for strike 2. Taylor Smith this past season with Texas A&M hit .231 and had 18 RBIs for the Aggies. The only guy from the 2019 Commodores team to come back here 2 years later and end up playing for the Commodores again, as the 0-2 pitch is upstairs for ball 1. Another throw over to first. That one bounces in on Ducart, and the stop made by Despina. That's already 4 throwovers here for Jake Ducart. Fitz now comes set, looks towards home, a big deep breath, and he'll kick and deal with the 1-2 pitch. Hit high in the air down the left field line, tracking foul. It could stay in play, but it gets just out. That ball would have had the distance to be a home run had it been fair. It lands about 10 feet left of the foul pole out in left field near the Falmouth bullpen. And so we do it again here still with a 1-2 count. This is the first of 2 games, a back-to-back against the Gatemen here early in the season. Wareham comes to Falmouth tomorrow evening as the 1-2 pitch comes in, and Smith turns out of the way. It got a piece of him, and then it got a piece of either the catcher or the home plate umpire. I didn't see that, Matt. Did you?
I think it hit both. I think it hit all 3, the hitter, Smith, the catcher, Samillo, and the home plate umpire. If anything, it got the worst of it was Samillo. He took that right off the mask, and I think off of the top of his mask, it went into the shoulder pad of the home plate umpire. Home plate umpire is checking his mask now too, but that was so dangerous because it didn't just soak up on Smith, the hitter. It ricocheted off of all 3 of them.
So after Fitz had a 1-2-3 inning back in the 6th, he's allowed the first 2 batters to reach here in the top half of the 7th. Falmouth leading 3-2 over Wareham, as Fitz comes home now with the first pitch here to Luke Boyers, and Boyers put down the bunt, but it went back out of play. So the count 0-1 here now on the lefty hitter. Boyers still looking for his first hit as a Commodore here this summer. He's 0 for 1 today. He was hit by a pitch back in the 5th. 3 different Commodores have been hit by pitches today. Borfin has been hit twice, so a total of 4 hits batters. As the 0-1 pitch now, another bunt shown down, and this time Boyers gets hit as the pitch runs inside on him. So that's back-to-back guys that Richard Fitz ends up hitting, and Luke Boyers reaches for the second time this game, both times via the hit by pitch. So 5 different Falmouth batters have been hit today, or 3 different hitters, but a total of 5 times today. And the bases are loaded here now for the Commodores, and time is going to be called as the pitching coach for Wareham, George Caralejo, is going to go out to talk with his pitcher and the entire infield.
Well, after Richard Fitz had a really good first inning of work back in the 6th, he struck out 2 batters, had a 1-2-3 inning. Comes out here, the leadoff hit might have gotten him a little bit just frazzled, just a little, and he's been throwing inside a lot. He had a ton of real estate, or Ducart had a ton of real estate in his mind over on first base. He tried to pick him off 5 times. Ducart was safe every single time. Now Ducart's all the way on third, and he didn't have to do much to get there. 2 hit by pitches behind him has loaded up the bases, and with nobody out here in the 7th, a crucial time. The infield looks like they're going to play back in the middle and up at the corners. Maybe mid-depth in the middle, up at the corners. A huge time back at the top of the order for the Commodores to try and take this lead and make it even bigger.
Yeah, back to the top of the lineup here for Cody Colden. First pitch to him is fouled out of play. Goes behind the Gatemen dugout. So the count 0-1 here now on him. Falmouth leading 3-2 in this ball game, but threatening here to add to that lead and try and increase that lead a little bit over the Gatemen. Both teams here looking for their first wins of the season. The 0-1 pitch hit up the middle, and it's going to be caught by the second baseman, Cody Jeffries, who was positioned over towards second, trying to play with that double play depth. So that ball lined right to him for a crucial first out for the Gatemen.
Well, that's just, number one, perfect defense where he's situated for Cody Jeffries. He was right there. It was lined right at him. He didn't even have to move a step. Sometimes when it's hit that hard right at you on a line, sort of a knuckleball off the bat, but that one just looked like it was laced right at him, and he made the play. Second thing that was good was the base running for the Commodores. All three base runners paused and ran back to their bases on a line drive to the infield with less than 2 outs.
Well, here's Falmouth's hottest hitter up to the plate, Michael Curiali, who watches ball one come inside on him. Curiali, in his early goings here with the Commodores, is already 4 for 6 and has 3 RBIs to his name, and an opportunity here with the bases loaded as he has a 1-0 count. Second pitch of this at-bat is in for strike one here on the UCLA Bruin.
One game has gone final tonight around the league. The Bourne Braves have defeated the Brewster Whitecaps 9-1. That was in Brewster. The other 4 games are currently going on.
Get you some more of those out-of-town scores in just a moment here as the 1-1 pitch now from Fitz is fouled back and out of play. Michael Curiali now behind in the count 1-2 here with Falmouth leading 3-2 in the top half of the 7th. Falmouth brought 2 runs across in the top of the 4th. Wareham answered with 2 of their own in the bottom half of the same inning, and then Falmouth tacked on 1 more in the 5th off of Michael Curiali's RBI double. And here now with the 1-2 count. Pitch here from Fitz is upstairs, and it gets away from the glove of Samillo. Charging in from third is Jake Ducart, and he will score standing up. And both runners on base advance. So Taylor Smith moves to third. Luke Boyers moves to second. And it's now 4-2 Falmouth.
Well, Falmouth hasn't really had to do much in this inning to score a run. I mean, the single from Ducart got him on base to start it off. Then 2 hit by pitches and a wild pitch gets them the run to score. And still with 1 out, 2 runners in scoring position as the infield now plays in without a force at home. Interesting. They didn't do it with, I guess the middle played back to try and get the double play, but now they'll play up in the grass.
Pitch here, the 2-2 crushed high in the air to straightaway center. Tracking back is Fergus, and he's going to get under it. Tagging from third is Taylor Smith, I should say, and he'll score to add 1 more run. So tack on another RBI here for Michael Curiali, who already has his 4th of the season for the Commodores. Advancing to third is Luke Boyers. So he stands on third, the lone base runner on. 5-2 Commodores.
When you're the hottest hitter on the team, you might continue to try to put the ball anywhere you can to get on base, but the mentality of Curiali there was try to drive in the run, and he's had several RBIs already this year, but hits a ball deep, almost to what would be the warning track. There is no warning track here at Spillane Field, but backed up Fergus all the way to the wall pretty much, a couple feet from going out into dead center field, but does his job getting the sacrifice fly, picking up another insurance run, and now a 3-run lead for the Commodores.
Braden Taylor with a 1-0 count here now as Fitz with the second pitch of this at-bat. Drops it on the outside corner for strike 1. Yeah, I thought Curiali off that bat had a chance to get that ball to go. It kind of died a little in the night sky, but it was certainly a good crack off the bat, brought home a run for the Commodores. And again, a 5-2 lead here for Falmouth in the top half of the 7th. The pitch here on the 1-1 to Taylor is down in the dirt, and Samillo able to stop it and prevent the runner in Boyers from third to come home. Ducart led off this inning with a single, and then Taylor Smith was hit by a pitch. Luke Boyers was then hit by a pitch. That loaded the bases, and then a pass ball and a sac fly have brought home both runs here this inning for the Commodores. The 2-1 pitch is upstairs and away, and the count now 3-1 here on Braden Taylor, who's looking for his first hit of the afternoon. He's 0 for 3. Should say of the evening. It's just about 9 o'clock, so later in the evening. But regardless, a 3-ball, 1-strike count here, and the pitch home from Fitz. Swing and a miss from Braden Taylor, and the count now full with 2 outs. Taylor had a couple of singles yesterday for the Commodores. Love to try and bring home this run here and get his first RBI of the season. The payoff pitch here from Fitz is popped up, foul and out of play as it's going to land right around the stands, and it does as it lands in the crowd and the very last deck. I believe it may have caught a fan, and some other people around here are going to come over to check on him. Certainly hope everything's okay behind us and just over to the left. A little dazed is that fan afterwards, and they're going to get some help for him. But the count's still full here now for Braden Taylor. The pitch home, again fouled back, this one into the backstop, and we'll continue to do it again.
Another fan that went and retrieved the ball that after it hit, he went and gave it back to the fan who was contacted by that baseball.
Payoff pitch here again, and it's upstairs on Taylor. So another man aboard here for the Commodores here in the top half of the 7th. Braden Taylor reaches base for the first time this afternoon off the walk. And fortunately, I think the fan appears to be okay. We heard some clapping behind us as he got that foul ball back, and now a couple of the Gatemen staff are going to go over to check on him. But he looks to be okay. Everyone's smiling up there, so that's, at the end of the day, what you want to see.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
So Braden Taylor leads off of first. Leading off of third is Luke Boyers, and now Alex Sayre will step to the plate for the 4th time this afternoon, or this evening, should say, as the first pitch to him is in for strike one. I don't know why I can't get my timing down. It's 9 o'clock, so it is a night game. Regardless, though, count now 0-1 here on Alex Sayre, who is 1 for 3 here this evening. There we go. And running is Taylor, and the pitch in is a ball on Sayre. No throwdown from Samillo. So moving into scoring position is Braden Taylor. Commodores now with runners on 2nd and 3rd.
And the 2 runners on base, both TCU Horned Frogs, both in scoring position.
1 ball, 1 strike here. 2 outs in the inning, and Fitz comes home with the pitch, and it's hit over the right side of the infield on the ground. Charging to his left to make the play is Jeffries. The throw over to first is off the bag, and DeSpina can't field it. Both runners will score for Falmouth. Luke Boyers from 3rd and Braden Taylor from 2nd. And so the Commodores continue to add to that lead. It's now a 7-2 advantage for Falmouth.
Well, they're yet to flash a hit or an error on the board. But that was such a tough play for Jeffries to make. Hitting the hole. He was pinching up the middle with a runner on 2nd to keep him on in Taylor. It was hit towards his left. He got there. He fielded it, but had to make that running throw from his back foot, cross his body, and it got away from the first baseman, DeSpina. So whether that's a hit or an error, I'm still not sure yet, but 2 runs come in, again, for the Commodores.
And that'll now bring up Jace Borfin as he watches ball 1 come in up high. Try and get an update as to whether that's scored as a hit or an error. Still waiting for the live scores to input that here into the live scoring system as the 1-0 count here now on Jace Borfin. Fitz comes home with the pitch and a check swing from Borfin. And they're going to say that he did not go around. So ball 2 there on the Oklahoma product. Alex Sayre leads off of first after reaching moments ago off either a hit or an error, depending on how the official scorer see that. And the pitch upstairs and away again. So quickly 3-0 here on Jace Borfin.
And it is confirmed a single. So it's a 2 RBIs, or maybe a single, and they advanced on the error. Still not sure the full official scoring of it, but it's a single for Sayre.
On 3-0, Borfin not swinging as the pitch in for a strike. And now 3-1 here on the Oklahoma lefty.
They're going to give him a 2-run single on that. That's so interesting as the throw got away. But I guess both runners, since they were advancing on the play.
Now 3-2 as Borfin has the pitch in at the knees that catches the inside corner. Maybe the official scorer, a hometown fan from the Wareham area, because I probably would have given that as an error, but a tough play nonetheless. 3-2 payoff pitch is hit up the middle, and it's going to land. Running on that pitch was Alex Sayre, and he's going to head into 3rd easily. And this inning continues as Jace Borfin picks up his first hit of the evening, and for the first time tonight reaches base after not getting hit by a pitch. And so the inning continues on here with Falmouth having runners at the corners.
Well, the 9th batter in the inning, Jake Meyer, is going to come to the plate. And when you go back and look about how this inning started, as Wareham's going to bring a mound visit again, it was a single from Ducart to start it off, then 2 hit by pitches in a row, a sacrifice fly 2 batters later, and then a walk and a 2-run single in the infield. I mean, this is just such a crazy inning, as Fitz is going to exit now. But when you started off with 3 of the first 3 batters getting on, 2 of them by free passes when you hit them, gives just such momentum to the offensive bats. And Falmouth has really put a really good inning together, a nice string of a few hits in a row, a few base runners in a row as well here in the heart of the order.
So Richard Fitz, who had a good 6th inning where he set down the Commodores in order, comes out here in the 7th and can't get it done as he's allowed 4 runs so far. The runners on the quarters are his responsibility, and we're going to have a pitching change here for Wareham. We'll have the details on the new pitcher when we come back here from Spillane Field. Falmouth leading 7-2 over the Wareham Gatemen.
Welcome to Spillane Field, and we hope you're enjoying the game. Attention, please. A pitching change for the Gatemen. Now pitching number 51, Alexander Pham from San Francisco.
New pitcher on here for Wareham, still in the top of the 7th inning. Alex Pham comes on here for the Gatemen, the junior right-handed pitcher out of San Francisco. He'll be making his Gatemen debut here early on in the season, and he comes on here in a bit of a jam. Commodores have already scored 4 runs here in the top half of the inning. They lead 7-2 and have runners on the corners. Commodores or the Gatemen have been stuck with 2 outs for a while, and they'll see if Pham is the man to get the job done. So after Richard Fitz exits the game with an inning and 2/3 of work under his belt, allowed 3 hits, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, and the 2 men on are his responsibility in addition to the 4 runs that have already been plated. Stepping up now, Jake Meyer, the only man in the Commodores' batting order that has not come up yet this inning. And the first pitch into him is low and away for ball 1. If Ducart does come up as the next batter, Commodores will have batted around entirely here in the top half of the inning. Count 1-0 here on Jake Meyer. Meyer 1 for 3 this afternoon, and a couple of times here where Pham has looked in for the sign and has not been able to get on the same page with his catcher, Samillo. Still looking in for the sign, and now he has it. Comes set, holds the ball belt high, and now kicks and delivers home, and a big swing and a miss from Jake Meyer. Count even at 1-1. Pham this past season with San Francisco, 22 appearances, and he pitched 55 and a thirds innings, 4.39 ERA, and allowed opposing hitters to hit just .238 against his stuff. Meyer now with a 1-1 count. Continues to wave the bat as Pham looks in for the sign. A pitcher here that certainly takes his time, and he can't get on the same page again here with Samillo, so Pham's going to step off the rubber. Pham has his sign now. A quick look over towards first. Now looks home, kicks and delivers, and the breaking ball is in as it catches the outside edge of the plate for strike 2.
Pham released that so high in his release point that to try and get on top of that curveball, to have a breaking ball come and drop into the zone. So it started out up at the chin to the hitter Meyer, but then it falls into the zone.
And the 1-2 pitch is grounded softly over to the second baseman, Jeffries. Jeffries fields it, and then as he got it, it was Jace Borfin who ended up running into him as he got that ball. So they're going to say it was runner's interference there by Borfin and that he's going to be out. So it was a play that Jeffries may have gotten a little bit lucky that Borfin ended up running into him because it was a tough play that he was going to make, the soft grounder. But regardless, the Gatemen get out of the inning, but not before Falmouth brings home 4 runs across in the top half of the 7th. And we'll head to the bottom half of the inning with the Commodores leading 7-2 over the Wareham Gatemen. Bottom of the 7th, and Chase Jeter still on the mound here for Falmouth as the Gatemen find themselves with their biggest hole of the day, trailing by 5 here in the bottom half of the 7th inning. And Cody Jeffries will lead things off here for the Gatemen as 9-1-2 will come to the plate here for the home side. Jeter, who had a 1-2-3 inning back in the 6th, and the first pitch in here to Jeffries is up and away for ball 1. Both Falmouth and Wareham looking for their first wins of the season. Commodores bats have been active both nights so far of the season. 14 total runs that have been brought across by the Commodores thus far as the count now 2-0 here to Cody Jeffries. And as Jeter has his sign, the lefty kicks and delivers up and away again. And now 3-0 here to Jeffries. So if you're listening at home, be sure, I hope you're already following us on our social medias at Falmouth Commodores on Twitter, social media, and Facebook as the 3-0 pitch here from Jeter is in for strike 1. But most notably, go to our Twitter account anytime this evening because our sideline reporter, Joanne Bethay, this is going to be a staple of the season. She's going to try and review a food from each of the different ballparks, and the count now 3-2 here to Jeffries. She's going to try a different item at each ballpark. She just posted the review on our Twitter page, and we have Joanne with us right now to talk about tonight's featured item here at Spillane Field.
Thanks, David. So when I went to the concession stands, they told me
Sorry, hold that thought for 1 second as Jeffries goes up the middle with the single. And so a leadoff man aboard here for the Gatemen in the bottom half of the inning.
They told me to go behind the bullpen to where the grill was. So over there I truck watching them grill burgers and hot dogs. And what they told me is their specialty is an Italian sausage with a special sauce, peppers, and onions. And they let me try it, and it was definitely a 10 out of 10. So off to a good start with the Cape Cod League Baseball Food Tour.
Back to the top of the lineup here now for Jim Jarvis. Real quick, Joanne, I'm curious. So this is your first time trying a ballpark food for this summer here in Falmouth. How does it stack up to some of the other sausages that you've maybe had at other ballparks around the country?
So the last time I think I had an Italian sausage at a ballpark, I was 10 years old at the College World Series. The last time they had the World Series at Rosenblatt. And I will tell you, I think this might have topped the one I had at Rosenblatt. So good stuff. Good food coming out of Cape Cod. I mean, I know I'm only at stop 1, but I have high hopes now.
2-1 the count here to Jarvis. Well, we're certainly looking forward to what the item is at each ball game this season. I know that it's going to be a fun thing for fans to follow, and for any fans who end up coming to any road games, certainly an item to check out at each ball game. We got to make sure we also do one at the Gov, get something good for the home team.
Oh, yeah, I saw someone post a lobster roll the other day, so I'm going to have to check that out next home game.
There we go. Joanne, thanks. And again, everybody go and check out that food review on Twitter, because I'm sure that it'll make you hungry, and also it'll just be a good laugh here for the evening. Jarvis with a walk there, and there's now runners on first and second as Chase Jeter has given up back-to-back walks here against the Gatemen, and they now have runners on first and second. So, Matt, I'm curious from you, I'm sure you and I have been to plenty of ball games over the years. Is a sausage your favorite ballpark food? Burger, hot dog? What do they call it up here? Glizzy? What's your food of choice?
Well, I can't say that I've ever gotten a sausage at a game. That's just never a food item that goes through my mind. I will say that I had a steak sandwich a couple years ago from Patty LaField's at Citi Field, as a fastball comes in on the outside corner, so it's 0-1. But Patty LaField's right next to Shake Shack at Citi Field. That was pretty good. It was a steak sandwich, and nothing like the Citi Field atmosphere, so I'll go with that. But it's a usual ball game. I'll go with probably the chicken tenders.
There we go. Chicken tenders and fries is always a classic as the count runs even here at 1-1 here. Pinch hitter in here for the Gatemen, Devereaux Harrison from Long Beach State, pinch hitting for Trez Gonzalez. And he's, again, even here, 1-1. Runners on first and second here for the Gatemen. Falmouth leading 7-2 here in the bottom half of the seventh. And the pitch home here from Jeter, fouled back into the backstop. And the count now 1-2. Jeter set, now comes home with the pitch, low and away, and the count runs even 2-2. Yeah, I'm definitely excited to see all the different ballpark items that we get on the Cape here this summer. So many great ballparks, fan experiences, and some great food and memories that can be made each night out at the ballpark. 2 balls, 2 strikes here. The pitch to Harrison must have just been outside because that pitch looked good from our vantage point from Chase Jeter. But the count full here now, and Jeter trying to avoid his his second straight walk of this inning. And Jeter looking in for the sign from Meyer, steps off and asks to do it again. Cody Jeffries leads off of first. Jim Jarvis leads off of, Jeffries leads off of second as that pitch fouled out of play down the first base line, and we'll do it again. We also made sure to ask this week in all of the interviews we did with the guys we ended it with what their favorite ballpark item is. And a lot of them, different answers. Some kept it simple. We heard nachos. We heard just a simple burger as this 3-2 pitch drilled up the middle, and it's going to fall in front of Boyers, rounding third and taking a big turn, but staying there will be Cody Jeffrey. So the base is now loaded here, still with no outs in the bottom half of the inning as Paul Skeens will come up to the plate. So already 2 hits here in the inning for the Gatemen. And a walk as well. Have brought the bases full here for the home side. Jeter looking a little less comfortable out on the mound this half inning. And now the catcher for the Commodores, and Jake Meyer, goes out to talk with him and try and settle down his pitcher. So now Paul Skeens steps in 0 for 3 this evening, and he comes in here with the bases loaded and nobody out. First pitch of the at-bat from Jeter is down low for ball 1. Skeens with a strikeout, a ground out, and a line out this evening in his 3 plate appearances. The 1-0 is in over the heart of the plate for strike 1. Skeens this past season with Air Force started 48 games in total, hit .410 for the Falcons, and had 43 RBIs, also 11 home runs. So a guy with a lot of power in his bat. He stands at 6'6", towers over the plate as the count now 1-2 as he watches strike 2.
So far, a lot of size that we've seen here on the Cape. Adam Stone yesterday, Commodores pitcher, 6'6", started the game, and Caden Grice for Chatham out of Clemson, a 6'6", left-handed pitcher and first baseman. And today we see Paul Skeens, a catcher and a pitcher he's listed at 6'6". He's DHing today, though.
1-2 pitch just outside. Good job by Meyer to try and frame that pitch as the count runs even here, 2-2 here now on Skeens.
I don't know if I've ever seen a two-way player that's a pitcher and a catcher. But I guess having the same mindset in terms of attacking hitters, both of those positions do have.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Pitch here from number 22 is down in the dirt, and a good stop by Meyer to prevent the runner in that third, Cody Jeffries, from scoring. Yeah, it's certainly an interesting combo, being both a pitcher and a catcher. You can see both sides of it. As the payoff pitch here now from Jeter, and a big swing and a miss there from Paul Skeens as a huge first out there for the Commodores.
Well, the best way to get outs with the bases loaded and nobody out is to strike out batters, and that's exactly what Jeter just did. And he attacked the 6'6" 3-hitter in Paul Skeens and gets him to go down on a full count. When you strike out hitters with the bases loaded, you don't allow them to advance on a ball that's put in play, and that's the most important part.
So with a big first out recorded, Owen Diodati will step in now, and he watches ball 1 come in on him. Bases still loaded here for the for the Gatemen, with the Commodores leading 7-2 in the bottom half of the 7th. Jeffries leads off of third, leading off of second Jim Jarvis, and Devereaux Harrison leads off of first as the 1-0 pitch is thrown home, and a swing and a miss from Owen Diodati as the count runs even on him, 1-1.
And also what's big about striking out the first out of the inning with the bases loaded is that now any ground ball into the infield could get out of the inning unscathed with a double play. So just a huge out for Jeter to get, especially being the 3-hitter.
1-1 pitch is fouled off of the foot of Diodati, and he's in some pain afterwards, grimacing as that ball hit him, and then taking a short walk into the grassy area outside home plate, trying to walk off that hit. And he's one of the guys who does not wear an ankle or a shin protector, so that ball just went straight into his foot. Looks to be okay, though, as he steps back inside the dirt, and now will step back inside the box here behind in the count, 1-2, with 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th. Bases loaded here as Chase Jeter delivers the pitch home downstairs. Another good stop there by Meyer as the count runs even 2-2. Again, this is the first of 2 games in a back-to-back here against the Gatemen. The Wareham will come to the Gov tomorrow night for a 6 o'clock first pitch as the 2-2 here from Jeter. The heat gets down Diodati as he swings through that pitch, and there's now 2 gone after back-to-back Ks from Jeter.
And there's another out with the bases loaded and a batter not putting a ball in play. That is deathly for an offense's momentum, especially with starting with no outs. But for Jeter to be able to get the bases loaded and then come back and strike out 2 straight, now anything put in play can be an out, and no runners will score in this inning.
Justin Williams comes up now, and the first pitch he sees, he lines down the third base line, and that's a fair ball off the glove of diving Ducart, and it rolls all the way to the fence. 1 run will score in Jeffries, another will score in Jarvis, and advancing to third will be Harrison, and advancing to second is Justin Williams. Really well-placed ball there as Ducart at the hot corner. That ball came into him smoking, and he just could not handle it as it went off of his glove, and then it took a while for the fielders to collect it. So 2 runs come across there for Wareham, and they cut their deficit to 3.
Well, after striking out twice in his last 2 at-bats, Justin Williams, the Penn State Nittany Lion, comes through with a 2-run double. Still a long way to go for the Gatemen, but to get some runs back and now trail by 3 is much better than trailing by 5.
And the first pitch that Angelo Despina sees, he hits on a line over towards short, and the catch made there by Curiali. So that'll end the inning, but not before Wareham brings across 2 runs, and it's now a 7-4 ball game here from Spillane Field. We'll head to the top of the 8th. Commodores back up to the plate and trying to tack on some more runs here against the Wareham Gatemen. Top of the 8th here from Wareham as Jake Ducart will lead off the inning for Falmouth. 7, 8, 9 due up this half inning for the Commodores as Alex Pham still out on the mound here for the Gatemen. And the first pitch in to Ducart is down in the dirt for ball 1. Falmouth scored 4 runs in the top half of the 7th inning to stretch their lead out to 7-2. And just moments ago, Wareham answered with 2 runs of their own off of a Justin Williams 2 RBI double down the left field line. And that's made the score 7-4 as the count now 2-0 here on Ducart. Ducart singled back in the 7th as the Commodores batted around in the 7th. And the count now 3-0 here on Ducart. Pham asks that Samillo go through the signs again, as we've seen some early struggles with him thus far. And time going to be called now by Ducart, as Pham so far in the limited time that he's had on the mound at the end of the 7th and here so far in the 8th, has just not been able to get on the same page with Samillo. Now he does. The 3-0 pitch home is up and away, and a 4-pitch walk there that's worked by Jake Ducart as he'll reach base for the 2nd time this evening.
Another leadoff base runner, another leadoff walk for the Commodores offensively. They've just been seeing pitches pretty well today, not chasing too many times outside of the zone. All of their hitters have been. And getting on base early in innings is what is a recipe to score runs. When you get the guys on, their momentum after that is huge.
First pitch here to Bryson Ware, who came in at the top half or the bottom half of last inning as a defensive replacement for Taylor Smith at first. The first pitch that he sees, he hits high in the sky out towards center field, and Cade Fergus gets under it to make the grab. So there's one out now, and Jake Ducart still at first here for the Commodores. That brings up now another pinch hitter for the Commodores, as taking Luke Boyer's spot will be Justin Thompson, the junior out of Texas State, who will get his first at-bat of the season here for Falmouth. Ducart leads off of first, and the first pitch here to Thompson is a breaking ball in for strike one. Thompson, who started 55 games this past season for the Wildcats, hit .284 in his junior season and had 37 RBIs. And he fouls this pitch back into the backstop and now behind in the count 0-2. All of his starts were at either third base or shortstop. Guy who plays on the left side of the infield. He's pinch hitting here for Luke Boyers, who was the center fielder this evening for Falmouth. So we'll see how the Commodores come out defensively in the bottom half of this inning. And a check swing here and the appeal down to first, and they're going to say that Thompson went around. So 3 pitches and all of them strikes here to the junior Wildcat, and he's set down as there's now 2 gone as we go to the top of the lineup here for Cody Colden. Colden this afternoon or this evening is 0 for 4, and the first pitch here from Pham, a breaking ball in for strike one. Colden still looking for that first hit as a Commodore. He didn't play yesterday evening for Falmouth in that tie against Chatham, as now the 0-1 pitch from Pham is down in the dirt, but it's a breaking ball that's swung on and missed there from Colden.
2 more games have gone final. Hyannis has beaten Catuit 7-4, and YD defeated Harwich 3-0. 2 games going on right now are the one that we're bringing to you, and Chatham and Orleans, that's the rivalry game. It's 5-3 Anglers currently in the top of the 8th.
0-2 pitch here to Cody Colden is outside for ball 1. And I know there's some rain potentially in the forecast tomorrow evening. Hopefully it's able to hold off so that these 2 teams, as well as all the teams on the Cape, can get their respective games in. As the 1-2 now from Pham is popped out of play behind home plate. And the count stays at 1-2. Of course, all games this season, if they get rained out, they're not going to get made up. It's just going to be a day off as a result. So if any games get canceled, either tomorrow due to potential rain or at a later point in the season, it's just going to be canceled, and that'll be that. The 1-2 pitch, a swing and a miss, and that sets down the side on back-to-back Ks there from Alex Pham to end the inning. That one sets out Cody Colden, and we'll head to the bottom of the 8th now. Still 7-4 Falmouth here from Wareham, Massachusetts.
It's your boy.
Bottom of the 8th here, and another pitching change for Falmouth as Jackson Phipps comes on here. The 6'5 freshman lefty out of Dallas, Georgia, as he'll make his Commodores debut this past season at South Carolina. 12 appearances and 12 total innings that he pitched. Not a whole lot of sample size to his stuff, as he had a 9.00 ERA, and his longest outing was 2 innings, but he'll try and keep this game in the Commodores' hands as he comes on here relieving Chase Jeter.
And Anthony Hall has gone in to center field as a defensive replacement after Luke Boyers was pinched.
First pitch here to Nick Samillo is fouled out of play. The count now 0-1 here on the Manhattan College product. Samillo this evening is 0 for 2. Reached base on a fielder's choice back in the 4th. And the 0-1 pitch here now from Jackson Phipps comes home with it and just downstairs for ball 1. Phipps, one of 3 current Gamecocks on this Falmouth Commodores roster. One more, Mike Esposito, on the team will be going to South Carolina this coming season. So you could make it 4 total South Carolina products that this Commodores team has, which is the most representation by any one school on the Commodores team. 1-2 pitch here now from Phipps, and it's fouled back out of play behind home plate. We've already seen Brennan Malone, another South Carolina guy for Falmouth thus far here on the season. Mentioned Mike Esposito as the 1-2 pitch sails upstairs on Samillo. And the other guy, Wesley Sweat, for South Carolina, that's represented on this Falmouth team. Two-two here now from Phipps, and it's hit high into the night sky, out towards right field, a couple steps towards his left. Goes Borfin, and he gets under it to make the grab for the first out of the inning. So 1 down here now for Cade Fergus, who's reached base safely in all 3 of his plate appearances here this evening. Phipps looks into the signs here from Meyer. Has it, comes set, and throws home as it's down in the dirt on Meyer, and it gets away from him. So a new ball will come into play here now for Jackson Phipps.
Well, you mentioned the hitter, Cade Fergus, getting on base in all 3 plate appearances today. That's what he does. That's what he does well at George Washington. He had a team-high 24-game on-base streak, and he had 12 multi-hit games this past season for the Colonials. Just a machine at getting on base, and he's done it again tonight in the 8th spot at the bottom of the order for the Gatemen.
His first game that he's playing here for the Gatemen this season, he was the only guy in the lineup tonight to not play yesterday, or at least get 1 at-bat yesterday at Catuit, in what was a loss for the Gatemen, an 8-5 loss, as the 1-0 pitch fouled back and out of play, and it's now 1-1 here on the righty hitter. Matt mentioned moments ago some of those scores from around the league. Chatham leading Orleans in the top of the 8th at Veterans Field in Chatham, as the 1-1 pitch is upstairs for ball 2. Several teams tonight were looking for their first wins of the season. YD picked up its first win with a 3-0 shutout over Harwich. Bourne won 9-1 over to Brewster to improve to 2-0 on the season, as the pitch here from Phipps is upstairs for ball 3. Count now 3-1 here on Fergus. Hyannis won 7-4 over Catuit at home. That's Hyannis' first win of the season. So Wareham and Falmouth, so far the only teams to not have a win in the East Division, or in the West Division, I should say, as the pitch is downstairs there to Cade Fergus, and he is on base again here for the 4th time this evening, and for the 3rd time via the walk. So Fergus leads off of first now for Cody Jeffries, the 9-hitter who comes up here with 1 out in the bottom half of the 8th. 7-4 Falmouth leading Wareham here from Spillane Field. Crowd has thinned down as the evening has gone on, but still a good number of folks here for the second night of the Cape Cod season here in 2021. First pitch to Jeffries is outside for ball 1. Had a really good turnout last night at the Gov. A little over 1,400 fans for opening night between Chatham and Falmouth. And they got an entertaining game, a 7-7 draw between the two sides as the 1-0 comes in, and it's in for strike 2 here, or strike 1, I should say, on Jeffries. And I know we keep saying it, but it's just such a delight to see fans out here smiling, kids running around chasing foul balls, Joanne eating sausages, just all sorts of great things that we're getting here in this 2021 Cape League season as the 1-1 pitch, a broken bat on the ground ball to Curry Alley at short, and the throw over to first. Bryson Ware can't handle it as it goes off of his glove, and in safely at first is Cody Jeffries.
Well, going back to your point about seeing all the fans back and everything like that, you can make an argument that baseball as an atmosphere makes it the best sport to be at in a game, and just the food, the smells, the sights and the sounds and everything that you get in an experience at a ball game. In my opinion, there's nothing like it, and just to see it after a summer of nothing here on the Cape, it's just such a joy.
First pitch here to Jim Jarvis at the top of the lineup. Gets away from Ware, but no one will advance on the base paths. And just checking to see how that play was scored. I think they gave it as an error to Falmouth because Commodores now have 2 errors in the ball game. So you can mark that up as an E6 there for Falmouth if you're scoring at home. So the Commodores now with 4 total errors in the early goings of the season. As the 1-0 pitch here now to Jarvis is in for strike 1. Cade Fergus leads off of second. Cody Jeffries leads off of first. The 1-1 pitch here is outside for ball 2 here on Jarvis. Phipps set on the mound, looks back towards second, now comes home with the pitch, and it's in for strike 2 here on Jarvis. Jarvis today reached on a single, an error, and a walk in this ball game. Only one at bat where he didn't reach base, and that was back in the second when he grounded out to second. Has a 2-2 count now, and as Phipps was set on the mound, he's going to step off and do things over here with his catcher, Jake Meyer. Matt mentioned that now out in center field for the Commodores is Hall. And again, Bryson Ware is at first. Those are the couple of defensive substitutions that we've seen thus far in this ball game as the 2-2 pitch fouled back and out of play. And it'll land on the school behind us here at Spillane Field. I have to imagine, Matt, that at some point in time, one of these windows behind us has been shattered. I'd have to think.
They might be indestructible.
2-2 pitch here from Phipps down in the dirt, a check swing, and they're going to appeal to the third base umpire, and they're going to say that he did go around. So strikeout there for Jackson Phipps, his first of the evening, and there's now 2 gone here in the bottom half of the 8th.
The right fielder, number 11, Cade Kern from Ohio State.
It does surprise me that there isn't any kind of netting to block those windows from getting hit, but you may be right, some kind of indestructible glass that looks over this ball field. As now with 2 outs, it will be another different hitter here for Wareham as they're going to throw in a pinch hitter, Cade Kern, here for the Gatemen, the Ohio State product. So another Big Ten player getting in here in tonight's contest. And he has a 1-0 count here on Jackson Phipps. And as Phipps comes set, again steps off the rubber, and he'll run things through again with Jake Meyer.
Had an opportunity to see Cade Kern and the Buckeyes play down in College Park in Maryland in the middle of April. Maryland swept the Buckeyes, but Cade Kern was a standout on that roster.
His 1-0 pitch is grounded softly over towards the right side of the infield, and it's fielded by Taylor, and an easy throw over to first. So no harm done for Jackson Phipps in the bottom half of the 8th. We'll head to the top of the 9th. Falmouth leading 7-4 over the Wareham Gatemen. The final frame here from Spillane Field as Falmouth comes to bat in the top half of the 9th. New pitcher on here for Wareham to close things out is Tyler Shingledecker out of Penn State as another Nittany Lion in tonight's ball game. And the first batter that he'll see is Michael Curiali here for Falmouth. And the first pitch that Curiali sees, he sends into right field, and it's going to drop on one hop in front of Tres Gonzalez. So another base hit this evening for Michael Curiali, who picks up 3 hits tonight. He reaches base safely 4 times and also had 2 RBIs.
Now 5 hits and 4 runs batted in the past 2 nights for Michael Curiali.
And so with Curiali leading off of first, Braden Taylor will step in now as the 3-hitter for Falmouth, and the first pitch that he gets is outside for ball 1.
Not a bad way for Curiali to start his Cape Cod season.
He has certainly been the standout thus far here on this Commodores team. The 1-0 here now to Taylor is down in the dirt, and a really nice stop by Simillo behind the dish to make it 2-0. Shingledecker, sophomore lefty out of Huntersville, New York. Had 16 appearances this past season for the Nittany Lions, total of 27 innings of work, and a 6.00 ERA. As the count now 2-1, as Taylor watches that strike sail by him. Well, we've seen so far, Matt, a lot of Big Ten here in this early goings of the season. We saw David Falco last night from Maryland pitch for Chatham. Tonight we've seen 3 different Big Ten guys in this contest, Shingledecker and Williams from Penn State, as the throw over to first and back in safely Curiali on a head-first slide. And then moments ago we also saw Cade Kern from Ohio State.
The NCAA likes to neglect the fact that the Big Ten does have talent in baseball, only allowing 3 teams in the tournament. But individually as players, a lot of the guys are talented. A lot of the guys will get looks to be drafted into the Major League Baseball draft.
Count now 3-1 here on Braden Taylor. As Shingledecker comes home, and this pitch cranked out towards right field. Heading back is Gonzalez, and his first step was in. He ends up retreating back just in time to get to that ball and catch it on the line, and there's one gone. Curiali stays at first, and that brings up Alex Sayre now here with one gone in the top half of the ninth. Falmouth leading 7-4 over Wareham. As Shingledecker looks over towards first, Curiali playing around with him, and the first pitch home now is swung on and miss from Sayre. Falmouth scored 2 runs in the fourth and another one in the fifth, and then they tacked on 4 runs in the seventh, which ended up putting them up what's so far been for good. As the pitch here now from Shingledecker falls in for strike 2, and quickly Sayre behind 0-2. Shingledecker set on the mound, holds the ball belt high, looks over towards first, and now kicks and delivers home, and it's fouled back and out of play behind home plate. We'll be back on the air tomorrow evening from the Gov for a 6 o'clock first pitch against this same Wareham team as the 0-2 pitch gets away from Meyer behind the dish, and advancing in easily to second will be Curiali on the wild pitch. So Curiali leads off of second now. Another runner in scoring position here for Falmouth. As Shingledecker set on the mound. Big deep breath. And now the lefty fires home outside. Ball number 2 here on Sayre. Again, 6 o'clock tomorrow night at the Gov. Love to see you there, but if you can't join us, be live about 15 minutes before first pitch on our YouTube page. As the 2-2 is a swing and a miss, but it gets away from Samillo, and charging down towards first is Sayre. The throw just in time, beat him by a step or two. Advancing to third on that throw will be Curiali.
At first, Curiali did not take off with the ball in the dirt, but because it was strike 3, Sayre had to run down to first, and the 2-3 putout is complete from Samillo over to Despina, and that allowed Curiali, after he retreated back to second, to then advance once the throw came from the catcher.
So Curiali now just 90 feet away from potentially adding one more insurance run here for Falmouth. In the first pitch that Borfin sees, he grounds softly down the first base line. Play going to be made by Despina, and he tried to apply the tag, but Borfin's speed ends up evading that tag. And so the hustle there by Borfin pays off with a single and also an RBI.
Well, yesterday Borfin ripped an RBI double into the right center field gap. This time about maybe a 60-footer. That's an RBI single, but it looks the same in the scoreboard, or in the scorebook rather. So Borfin's happy with the result, and using that speed as an outfielder, the Oklahoma Sooner digging down the line, he's able to avoid the tag as well.
So it's now 8-4 Falmouth here in the top half of the ninth as Jake Meyer's first pitch, or the first pitch to Jake Meyer, is fouled back into the backstop. Borfin there with his first RBI of the evening and his third of the season. Both him and Curiali have definitely been guys so far to keep your eye on in the early goings of this season, as the 0-1 pitch, a breaking ball that's outside for ball 1. Shingledecker now set on the mound. The 1-1 pitch here from the lefty, found again out of play here off the bat of Meyer. And the count runs to 1-2. Shingledecker's gotten a lot of guys here in his inning of work into 2-strike counts, but just hasn't been able to seal the deal. As there's another one here on Meyer. Shingledecker now comes home with the pitch, and it's inside. And Samillo had it in front of him initially, but then the ball ended up getting away from him, so that'll allow Borfin to head down to second. And they count 2-2 here now on the righty Meyer. Falmouth making Shingldecker work on the mound. So he has his sign. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2 outs here in the top of the 9th. Falmouth leading 8-4, and Meyer pops it up over towards the right side. A chance for it to stay in play, as getting under it is the first baseman, Despina, in foul territory. And as he cuts over to his right, able to make the grab to end the inning, but not before Falmouth brings home one more run. Michael Curiali scores off Jace Borfin's 3rd RBI of the season. And we go to the bottom of the 9th. Falmouth looking to close it out for its first win of the season.
Now pitching number 27, Michael Esposito from South Carolina.
Bottom of the 9th, Falmouth leading it 8-4 over Wareham, and an opportunity here for the Commodores to pick up their first win of the season. Mike Esposito on the mound to close things out here for Falmouth as he makes his Commodores debut.
Mike Esposito out of Port Washington, New York. Actually a high school teammate of mine back in the day. Played with Mike for about probably 10 to 12 years or so. And after doing 4 years of public school at our public school Schreiber High School out in Port Washington on Long Island, he attended the Gunnery High School for his prep year. And then so that technically means he reclassed and goes to JUCO level at Longwood University, then now to Chipola University down in Florida for 2 seasons, and signed with the South Carolina Gamecocks to pitch there next year. And he'll head there down in August, or after this season, he'll head out to South Carolina.
Must be pretty cool to see a guy that you played with in high school out here on the mound pitching right in front of you, as he will be out here to try and get the final 3 outs for the Commodores and send them to their first win of the season. Paul Skeens will lead things off here for Wareham, and Esposito brings the heat on his first pitch as Skeens swings and misses through strike 1.
Esposito's developed a lot of velocity at the collegiate level. Now the fastball runs to the mid-90s and also has a slider as well.
Stands at 5'10" in the second pitch of this at-bat. Comes in inside on Skeens. The count runs even 1-1. Esposito, like you mentioned, Matt, played at the Gunnery High School, which is actually where Commodores head coach Jeff Trundy coaches at. Well, he's not up here with Falmouth. So these two are familiar with one another, as another high heat fastball there from Esposito gets Skeens to swing and miss at it. And they count now 1-2. Esposito set out on the mound, kind of rocks back and forth before his delivery. And this pitch inside here on Skeens. And again, now it's 2-2. This past season, Esposito, 9 appearances with Chipola, 14 1/3 innings of work, and an impressive 1.26 ERA as the 2-2 pitch is upstairs, but Skeens helps out Esposito by swinging at it, kind of a half check swing, and so there's one gone now as Esposito has his first strikeout.
Esposito in a family of baseball. His older brother Christian played at McGill University up in Canada. His younger brother Nick, also one of my high school teammates, also plays currently at McGill. So different levels, different countries technically playing in college baseball, but the three Esposito brothers representing well.
Owen Diavati digs in now with one gone, and the first pitch from Esposito blows past his bat, and the count quickly 0-1. Any of those brothers ever play in the Cape League, or just Esposito?
Just Mike, his brother Christian.
Or just Mike, I should say.
A little bit too old now, and Nick a year younger, or technically a year younger in terms of class, but 2 age years younger, so not his time yet to play on the Cape.
Gotcha. 0-1 pitch here to Diavati. Again, blows past his bat, and now it's 0-2. So far, we've seen 5 swings from Wareham bats here on Esposito, and not a single one has made any sort of contact with his fastball. We don't have a radar gun out, but I'd have to estimate his fastball in the mid to upper 90s, as takes a little bit off this one and goes upstairs with it, as the count now 1-2 here on Diavati. Diavati 0 for 3 this evening. Reached base in the third on a walk. As the 1-2 pitch here now with one out is fouled back and out of play into the brick on the school behind us. So we can't test out whether or not these windows are shatterproof just yet, but that one was close enough that it hit the brick. So Diavati digs in again here as Esposito looks in for the sign. 1 ball, 2 strikes. One out here in the top of the 9th. Falmouth leading 8-4. Esposito's pitch home sets down. Diavati looking. Back-to-back Ks for Esposito, and there's quickly 2 gone.
Well, he dropped in the breaking ball in the outside corner, and from the left-handed hitter, or the left-handed pitcher rather, to Diavati, the right-handed hitter, the breaking ball comes towards him, but starting it outside away from the strike zone to then drop it in the strike zone is what caught Diavati frozen.
So now with 2 gone, Justin Williams, the final try here for Wareham, in the first pitch that he sees, he fouls down the first base line and out of play, and he's behind in the count 0-1. Williams singled in his last at-bat in the 7th. It was an RBI double. Actually, a 2 RBI double, I should say. As now Esposito set, comes home with it, and it gets past the glove of Meyer upstairs. So ball 1 here on the Nittany Lion product. Falmouth just 2 strikes away, 1 out away from picking up its first win of the season and setting down the Wareham Gatemen to drop them to 0-2 as the heat blows past the bat again of Justin Williams, and the count now 1-2 here as the Gatemen down to their final strike. Esposito has his sign. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 2 outs here. Falmouth leading 8-4, and this pitch grounded over to the left side, fielded by Curiali, and on one hop, fielded by Ware at first, as a good stop there by the Auburn product, and that ends the game. Falmouth has its first win of the season as the Commodores win it 8-4 in an impressive offensive performance yet again by this team. Some more impressive pitching as well, and the Commodores a happy bunch this evening as they improve to 1-0-1 on the season.
Well, offensively, to put up 8 runs in a game is impressive enough, but to have 8 of the 9 batters starting in the lineup reach base. The only hitter that did not was Cody Colden. He went 0 for 5 with 2 strikeouts. He was in the leadoff spot. Everyone after him in the starting lineup reached base, and that is when you know you have done your job offensively. Getting guys on, the timely hits, stringing base runners together. Falmouth did it tonight, and the pitching was also there, and just basically a picture-perfect victory for the Commodores tonight.
So in the 2 games the Commodores have played thus far, 15 combined runs for this team. The offense has been so dominant for this team, but as much as that stands out, you have to credit the pitching too. Keeping Falmouth in both games here this evening, and despite allowing a couple of runs late in this ball game, 2 in the 7th, the Commodores bats still were active, tacked on another run after that, and just continued to hold the Gatemen at bay.
Well, Charles Harrison out of UCLA went 2 innings, only gave up a hit, and it was scoreless, 3 walks and 2 strikeouts. DeFabia came in. He was really solid, 3 innings, 2 hits, 2 runs. Neither of them earned a walk and 4 strikeouts. And then Jeter, Phipps, and Esposito to follow. I mean, Chase Jeter was probably the only hiccup. He went 2 innings, gave up 3 hits, 2 runs. Both of them earned. He struck out 3 as well. Phipps went an inning, gave up a hit, and struck a batter out. And then Esposito came in the 9th to close it out, a 1-2-3 inning with 2 strikeouts. His fastball's up to 97. That's what it's been clocked at the highest. And to see his development from such a young kid in Little League playing with him, but then now to seeing the velocity out there, that's the hardest I've ever seen him throw in person. And to make Power 5 hitters look foolish at the plate is something to be proud of if you're Mike Esposito and on his way to the Power 5 in the SEC next season. But does his job in his Cape Cod Baseball League debut and closes it out in a non-save situation for the Falmouth Commodores for their first W this season.
So Falmouth picks up that first win off of an 8-4 offensive onslaught over this Wareham Gatemen team. The final stat lines for both teams, 8-9-2 for Falmouth, 4-8-1 for Wareham. That'll do it this evening here from Spillane Field. For our sideline reporter Joanne Bethay and my broadcast partner Matt Levine, I'm David Adar, signing off this evening from Wareham. Thanks for tuning in to us this evening, and we'll be back from Gov Fuller Field tomorrow night as these two teams will be right back at it. We'll be on the air at 5:45 right here on YouTube with first pitch at 6. Have a great night, everybody, and thanks for tuning in this evening as Falmouth wins it 8-4 over Wareham.